everybody?
What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to the Deep-Seated Podcast.
Deep-Seated Podcast, yes.
I am, we are your hosts. I'm Curt Wells.
Adam Hoens.
And, what's up?
What's up? Episode 3.
Episode 3, my friend.
That was fast.
Yeah, I know. I was just kind of thinking that myself. I'm just like, with this, like, because we're going to have 2 scheduled a week, it's been ramping up quick, you know? We put in the work, the build up, get everything going, and now we
even though we just started, it's like 3 already, and then soon to be 4.
Just hop on with the momentum and see where we go with this whole thing. But how are you doing today, my friend?
Good, man. Yourself?
Oh, I'm excellent. Now that I got everything rolling, I got some caffeine in my system.
Got some swag on your back.
Some swag on the back,
What's going on with that?
Oh man, you gotta rep
fresh out the oven, eh?
That's right. You gotta rep some 3 stripes. Rep some 3 stripes and kind of show what era you're born in too, I guess. I guess for this one you gotta do some more like, I'll gotta do the podcast like this then. So this is how I'm gonna do the podcast for the rest of the day. Just slab squat the whole thing.
Yeah. So you get the full fit.
That's right.
Look at it. Just kid it out.
Swag. Okay, maybe not. Just fucking, can you imagine if I just slab squatted for like 3 hours? Just like, so what's going on? That just becomes the fucking podcast itself. Just like everybody's like,
just sitting in weird positions.
Yeah, and just like come on in. And you're already like flexing. Squatting. Just like, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. Welcome.
Please join us.
Oh man, that's too funny. So like, first things first, I just like, oh. As always in good fashion, I kind of mentioned it a little bit to you before the podcast, but it turns out that our scarting man is running with his memedom. And
yeah.
So that little clip that I brought to the podcast last week, the thing goes scuttered up. I think we all watched that.
The fire in the booth.
The fire in the booth.
So what happened with it? Something about Khaled.
That's right. So he's loving all the exposure that he just got. Kind of the similar thing as
Khaled's loving the exposure this guy's getting.
Yeah. That's part of the story.
Okay.
Is the simple fact that he, what's her name? Her rap name is now Bad Baby, but the Cash Me Outside girl.
Is it Baby, or where have I been hearing it on like the Everyday Struggle show? They like thought it was Barbie, like Bobby.
Oh, really?
Bad Bobby. I don't know.
Maybe.
That's how much I don't care. I haven't looked into it.
I just get into the stuff because like I'm always wrapped up into like how shit blows up or like what the hell is going on with culture.
Yeah, because I didn't even know who she was, and then they're like talking about it so much, and she has like a multi-million-dollar like deal, like and also album deal, like multi-album.
Yeah, so she basically took her memedom and ran with it hard. Like she basically, this whole thing blew up, and then she expanded into a music career, right? So
and she was on what show was it where she said that?
Oh,
it's like Maury or some shit.
Was it Dr. Phil? Not Dr. Phil. Anyways, so the basic premise of the thing is that homie Fire in the Booth did a very similar thing in the sense where he was getting all this exposure and he turned his freestyle rap, I don't think it was a freestyle rap. That was definitely some lyrics he had been planning out for a while. He recorded a music video and ran with all the exposure, and it's got him like traveling around doing like this like the high class rap video, and it stops in the middle for like, how there's usually like the little like scene break or whatever, and it's like DJ Khaled meeting him at an event, and DJ Khaled's just like, no, what up, legend, God, and he's like so excited to meet him.
The word of choice, legend.
Exactly right. Like, so yeah, it's too funny to be able to see somebody snowball something like that, just like literally like within a week, I'd say. Couple weeks.
Like he says legend, but like, let's be honest, that's like just the 15 minutes of fame, like,
oh yeah, get your shit while you got it.
It's like, I don't know if you know what legend means, Khaled, but
yeah, no, he's just more or less talking about from his social media world where
he's like, I'm a hop on this bandwagon.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah, holy fuck.
Oh man, that's so funny though. Just right out the gate, I saw that on Twitter the other day, and I was just like, oh my god, what? Makes sense though. But
like, to be honest though, are you surprised?
Not even the slightest.
Right? It's like, it's pretty fitting, I guess. Such an outrageous thing, right?
Oh man, so ridiculous. Oh man, so yeah, I remember I was about to just go with that, but
what would that have segued into?
don't worry.
Maybe our segment for the day.
Do you want to start off the game with that shit?
Well, let's talk about music.
Yeah. Let's lead into that.
We can transition and do this.
Yeah, we'll bring a little light to the situation, essentially. And also, forgive me, my brain's still on wake up mode a bit. Let me get a little more coffee action in here.
True.
But why don't you enlighten people what we're thinking about?
So we're gonna introduce one of the first segments that we've thought of. So since both of us are big music fans,
little bit.
Yeah, right. Just a little bit. We were thinking about doing a segment where we each would spotlight someone that we're currently fucking with at the moment, to put
a little artist spotlight, if you will.
Yeah, to put you guys on if you aren't aware, just to let you know like what we're feeling at the moment. So for me this week, there's a guy that he's been on my radar for a little bit. His name's Russ, this rapper. He's like a rapper singer, I guess you could say. Like,
right.
It's again when it comes like, I'm gonna label it to put into a box, but I think he's categorized under like when you look him up on iTunes is like it's hip hop, but he sings, got melodies and stuff too. He's super dope. But he's a 25-year-old artist. He's super sick. Like I said, he was sort of on my radar for a bit, but recently I just sort of dove into his latest album, There's Really a Wolf, which is really dope. What I didn't know about him when I researched him is he's like a one-man band. So
oh no shit.
Yeah, so he writes his own music, sings his own melodies, produces his own shit, engineers, mix masters, everything he does himself. Which, if you're like somewhat involved in the music industry, like that's incredibly impressive.
Oh, dude, absolutely. That's like,
and his music doesn't suck, so it says a lot. I
recognize that photo.
Yeah, which brings me to my next thing. So with being into music like I am and doing portraits and stuff, just hand in hand listening to him, I was like, okay, cool. Like he's gonna be my next subject. So I Google imaged some pictures, and this is the one I came up with that I thought looked the best. It's good lighting and stuff, so I thought it'd be a good reference pick to try to recreate. So this week I've just been listening to his music.
You get really and sorry for my silence there for a second. I was trying to figure out a bit of the back end stuff. I was like, oh shit, I can figure this out while listening. But I know you go deep with your stuff when you're doing your portraits and everything. You like to get involved with the artist.
Yeah, for sure.
You can elaborate better than I can.
Yeah. So when I do my portrait art of these people, I really only do portraits of people that I genuinely like, like I fuck with. So sometimes there's a bit of a break in between me producing stuff because I'm constantly searching and having to listen to people's discographies, and
for sure,
like I watch interviews with people, like, and for some artists there's tons and tons of content out there. So like, if you're sort of like even half-assing researching someone, it takes a few days.
Well, I mean, it's not only it's the building inspiration part of it, but then also trying to like add more to the art itself by having better insight into the actual artist itself.
Yeah, I like to get to know what they're about, like where they're from, like what's their backstory. That's why it's nice to have interviews to watch and listen to. But some people don't really have stuff like that you can look up. But for him, thankfully, he had quite a bit of music and some current interviews, which were dope because he's currently blowing up right now. But so just been focusing on him this week and listening to his music, and started that portrait and was worked on that this week, and I worked on it all day yesterday, was up late, and I woke up this morning early, and finished it and posted it on Instagram.
I was gonna say I just saw that posted the other day, or this morning after you started it the other day, and I was just like, Matt Tings.
I don't know if I don't think that was on the podcast, but I think it was either before or after our last podcast when we were talking off air.
Right.
That I was describing you this photo I found and this artist, because when we were talking about this idea to do this artist spotlight, I brought up to Curt that this was the guy I was going to do it on.
Perfect little expose of showing off some of your recent findings and inspirations. Yeah,
for sure. And then also like when I do produce like the portrait of the artist, all I listen to is that artist the whole time.
Right. What's like the main jam that you would turn people on to? I just basically looked up YouTube here.
Those three you got, the Me, You, What They Want, Got This. Those are all off his new album. They're all super dope.
Let's go check out one that's got 128 million views.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude.
Look at this guy.
Can you play this? Will it get taken down?
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work, but we'll just show that first little clip. There you go.
Yeah, check it out. His visuals are really dope too.
Yeah, I just more or less want to do I can see if I can do this for
Yeah, I don't know how the shit works with it getting flagged, but I think they're pretty on it.
I forgot that I had the audio playing in the background here. I just kind of wanted to like show the video to myself here in the background to give us a little something to look at while we're talking about him. But yeah, fuck. I remember you showing me a bunch of his stuff last time when you kind of introduced him, just like,
yeah.
And it's always the best in my mind seeing everybody being as involved as they can in their art. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, and I try to also like, I find it helps like with the production of the piece. Like you kind of get like a feeling of the artist like with it. Like from me listening to it and finding out their backstory, it like goes into producing the piece.
Right.
I don't know if anyone else can feel, but when I look at it, it brings back all those feelings and like how I felt making it and stuff.
Dude, absolutely. It's even been proven like the amount that it music ties to your senses, especially even attaching memories and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, huge.
Ooh,
yeah.
It's crazy. You ever seen that one where it was like they did like the music therapy for the old guy that was in like a retirement home or some shit? Basically, he couldn't move at all. Like he was just like sitting in his chair and like he was like the only words
like a paraplegic or something.
Well, no, he was just
like
he was just old and withered, right? And so essentially it was like the same kind of thing where they were trying to have a conversation with them and like the only words he could kind of speak were like kind of shit. It was like real fucking sad. So they loaded up a little iPod shuffle with all of his music, that his favorite music from when he was a kid. They went like they found out about it through family and shit. Yeah, and put it on, and he just fucking like literally like you watch like the neurons and synapses start firing in his brain again, and pathways start reopening, and he's like, it's like literally like watching the Matrix.
He's
like
probably going through all these memories, right?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Just like, whoa.
So then all of a sudden he starts getting energy and shit. He ends up having a full blown conversation with the lady after the fact, and like I think by the end of it, he's pretty much like, doing like old man dancing and shit. But like
so it's like basically a form of therapy for him, right?
So that's what they were starting with. This whole thing is a form of music therapy. So it was like, but the same thing that you even like kind of goes hand in hand with having that, what you're talking about, tying the memory of the time to music or whatever. And like, I mean, we all have so many of those memories. I have a bunch of them myself from like what we were talking about a couple podcasts ago, where it was like when you finally get that album.
Oh, fuck.
That was all you'd fucking listen to.
Yeah, that was the first podcast. I think we were talking about that.
Yeah.
Or,
no, it might be. Yeah.
Maybe it was not even on air, but yeah.
We're so deep into the deep sea.
Digging deep here.
So many podcasts I don't remember. But yeah, where you'll put it on and you'll like remember being in the back of that vehicle on the way home from that summer trip from a lake or something like that. And it's tricky,
it's man. Like it's so subconscious, right? It's like you're not even like aware of it until like this song starts playing, and then you're like, whoa, I remember where I was, like what time of year, the date, like even what we did that day could have been like an like you said, activity you did or were doing when the song played. You're like you can like remember shit.
Like the smells and like what you like had for lunch that day.
Yeah.
It gets crazy, man.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The power of it. It's interesting.
Hey. Stop it. Whoa. Sorry, I'm just fucking doing the double check on audio shit here, being paranoid this time. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, so that exact same thing, I can understand exactly why you would want to tie that into the art piece, make it fucking have a better fucking either like translation of your thought or inspiration into the actual piece of art that gets like put out there, you know?
Yeah, and again, there's tons of artists that I've done over the years. There's tons that I haven't that like I really am fans of, just solely because I haven't found a good picture. Like it all starts with a good picture for me.
Right. And that makes sense.
I try to find a picture that I feel like kind of captures like them the best, like almost like their personality through it, almost like it could be just a subtle like head tilt or like a look on their face or a little smirk or like a wink or something. I try to find a good angle, something that represents the artist's kind of personality. Like right. Like the best example I can just think of off the top of my head is like Kanye. Like I did a painting of Kanye and it's just him like just looking at the camera, just straight face.
Yeah,
like no emotion, right?
That's one of the print you gave me of, right?
Yeah. But that is perfect Kanye.
Oh, dude, you know for sure. Mean? Never like, fucking smiling, just always mean face.
Yeah, it's just like you look at that and you're like, that's Kanye.
Yeah, for sure. Just mean mugging.
Yeah.
Except for thick Kanye nowadays. Thick yay. He's always smiling nowadays.
He's got the dad bod, right?
Dude, that shit's so funny.
Why are people hating on that?
I don't even know, man. The guy's just living his life. He's got kids. He's happy as fuck.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't look like something forever.
No. Dude, look at Rihanna nowadays. She's looking good.
Yeah, she's fucking.
I like fucking her. That
she's thickened up.
Yeah,
and people are hating on that even. People hating on it, man. And it's like become like a whole thing where people are like, oh, like hashtag like Team Thick Rihanna, like, or people are like, oh, I miss the old Rihanna.
How about Happy Rihanna?
You're like, yeah. You're like, who cares, man? Like, people gain weight, people lose weight.
Well, dude, just she even said it in like an interview or whatever. She was just like, I'm happy. I'm eating burgers and steaks, all those tasty ass shit. You know, like what up? Did you see me in that outfit? Yeah, what up? You know what I mean? Like,
well, you just, like you said, you're like, I'm just living life. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's trying to just, be comfortable.
Well,
I think when you're at a level like that big where you're such an icon,
right.
It's like people have this image of you, and they want you to stay as that. So if you,
everybody fears change, man.
Yeah. So if it changes in any way, right?
Yeah.
Your look could be like gaining weight, losing weight, you cutting your hair, like it's a headline news.
Oh, dude,
right?
Remember when fucking Biebs was afraid of getting rid of the Biebs cut because it was like all he was known for?
Oh, like when he was super young.
Yeah, when he was super young, and then fucking all of a sudden now he's just like fucking, just like shaves his head. He's just like, nah, I'm done.
Okay, you notice when artists like reinvent themselves, you know, they kind of get like a new look.
Yeah.
They'll shave their head, or they'll dye their hair, or they'll cut it weird on one side, whatever. And then they go through their different looks. How fast their hair changes.
Oh, yeah, for sure, dude.
You know what I mean? So it's like, dude, you had a shaved head like 6 months ago. Now your hair is like so long.
Yeah.
Is it real? I know a lot of artists.
No, dude, a lot of females, it's extensions.
Well, not just females, like males. Like even Bieber, for example. Yeah, like he would have a buzzed head, but then he would have like his hair in the front would be super long, like down to here, and he would slick it back. Like, how does your hair get that long in that short amount of time?
That stuff's like, just time period stuff, like just stuff like photos being released at like wrong times and shit like that. Because
it has to be,
yeah,
you're
dude,
like,
it's so funny that we're going down this road itself. Because
I wish my hair was like that. You're like, I would love to have fucking all these different hairstyles in like a year,
dude. Fucking. It's so funny that we literally getting onto this road. I guess we should wrap up the thing quickly and say what we got off of on these tangents. First off, and saying that check out Russ.
And you can check out the portrait I finished it this morning on my Instagram. Under Indie Local.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I just know that we're gonna open up a bunch of other can of worms, and we're gonna fucking forget that we even started off being like, yo, we wanted to show you this artist. Fucking.
And then so that was my artist spotlight. Sunday spotlight of the week. So what do you got?
I'll get into mine after this tangent of what we were just literally talking about, the hair shit. It gets crazy, like where I've been thinking about myself, where I've obviously got a whole lot of dreadlocks.
Dude, like, your hair is
long now, where I've had
you've had it tied up for so long, like
because they've gotten so long.
Even the last like couple years just hanging out, your hair's always tied up. So
yeah,
I mean,
it's like, look at this. It's so
a little bit longer than I thought.
Stupid.
That's dope though.
It's so, yeah, it gets to the point where the same thing though, where you're like, you start craving change. So in my brain, I've been like thinking, like, I've been thinking about this shit for a long time. I kind of started joking about it on my vlog a little while ago, where I was like, yo, if I get over 9,000 subscribers, I'm gonna go Super Saiyan and I'm gonna bleach my dreads like fucking white or like crazy blonde or some shit.
All of them?
Oh yeah, full thing. Fucking
dude,
go Super
that's
Saiyan
a
3.
lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
That's a lot of hair.
Just more or less because even under the instance where like I've had them for so long now, and I just like I'm craving change. You know what I mean? Where I'm just like, I'm trying to. Maybe I should have some fun with them, or like I don't want to get rid of them, but I don't.
If I even remember you before dreads.
Yeah, because I just always had long hair, like always had crazy long hair, and so I just kind of like, I don't know. It became one of those factors where it was just like, I always wanted dreadlocks too, so that kind of came hand in hand, and then now that I like. It's so funny because I had this like Rob Zombie poster where he had like dreadlocks down to like here, and I was like, yo, that shit's crazy. Cool. So like wanted and so now I'm like twice as long as those were, and I'm like, okay, well now what do I do?
Now what,
right? So like, I've just been like tossing around all the shit in my head, and I'm just like, all right, so what do I do with this? So
because you reached your goal, right?
But it was interesting because it was just like an arbitrary goal or whatever, right? Just to see what happens over time. But that's like, they're actually getting so long now that I'm kind of like, what am I doing with these? You're just bored with it? Ultimately, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, a lack of a better word.
Yeah, I don't know. I just always love change and things of that nature. So I'm just kind of, I'm exploring the options. I'm not going to make any drastic measures yet, but I'm exploring my options.
I think coloring it is a safe bet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't say just cut them off.
No.
The amount of work you've put in.
So I don't know. It's interesting as fuck. I'm just like. That we got onto the hair topic because I was literally just thinking about that last night. I was like, what's going on with this shit?
Isn't that funny how that works out? I swear I bring up shit with you and then you're like, dude, I was just about to bring that up about you. Like,
I was actually even thinking about talking about this on today's podcast. Like, what am I doing with these dreadlocks that come down below my ass? That's not, if anybody's not watching, they're usually tied up in a massive man bun of power. But
the bulletproof man bun.
That's right. The thing's my helmet. It's actually saved my ass many a times. Like coming in somewhere like a hard hat or something like that. It's like up here and it's just like it bounces off something instead of like my head getting a massive fucking gouge taken out of it. Oh man. So random little tangent there, but on to my artist of the day for the artist spotlight.
Fill us in. I want to know, man.
So my good friends that I met back in the day, it's so funny how life itself actually works. Like when I went on tour across Canada back in one of my bands, I ended up meeting. Maybe share your band name for the people that don't know. My band at the time was called GFAP, which was GFAP. It was actually stood for Greetings from Asbury Park, but this isn't an artist spotlight about my band. This is about I ended up meeting a bunch of amazing lifelong friends along the way, through all these different bands that we ended up playing with and all like the different venues and such. And one of them that we met I met him a few times beforehand, but there was this amazing band called Fallen Archaea, and I met a bunch of people through that, but the guitarist was always super inspiring to me, by the name of Mike Stringer. And so Mike, where did you meet him? Do you remember? I'm trying to remember where the first show that we played at, but I didn't start talking to him further until he actually ended up hooking up with the lead singer of another band that I met from the island called the band was called Unicron. And we played with them a good handful of times. Amazing name. The Transformers link. You know, I got some Transformer hand tattoos. A bit of a Transformers fan. And she was a singer, screamer, and even played keyboards at the time in the band. Sick. And it was just like, it was one of the funnest bands. So to be able to play with them a bunch of times, and they ended up hooking us up with an extra island show and stuff while we were there. And so anyways, as time goes on, because this would have been in, were you out of high school or in high school? I was out of high school. Yeah. So this was like 2010, I think, when we were touring. Maybe a little bit earlier. I friggin' forget. So long story I don't even know what
it doesn't have to be a short story.
I know, but I'm condensing this into like a medium story. So anyways, time goes on, and one of my favorite bands growing up as when I was younger, goddamn coffee machine's beeping again. I forgot to turn that off. Yep. Okay, that's gonna be a reoccurring theme, I'm sure, because I like some coffee.
Till we get our intern, you can fucking,
that's right,
that's all the back end
fucking
shit.
Charles. So as I was growing up in high school, one of my favorite bands at the time was called I Wrestled a Bear Once, and I think I had cross-mentioned them to you before.
Yeah, that's also an amazing name.
Amazing band name, amazing band. Female vocalist fronted band that was just like really crazy off the wall heavy metal. And so it was just a little tangent to interject how much I liked that band and how long I'd been listening to them. It had been quite a period of time. So basically, after I toured and then now met Courtney and Mike through different band instances, and then they end up hooking up and becoming like the power couple that they are. And then awesome. Fucking time further rolls along a little bit, and I Wrestled Bear Once is on tour doing crazy things, and their vocalist, she got pregnant, so they needed a vocalist to fill in. So this is where my friends and the power couple fill in, and Courtney ends up getting their like random phone call like, yo, like, you want to do this?
Yeah.
And I think she had like a few days to prepare or something like that, and she literally
for like a show,
for a tour.
Oh shit!
Not even a fucking show, man. For like
Canadian tour? Or?
No, this was in the States. Okay. So it was like, yo, can you do this? And so she just like within like a couple days, few days, pretty much learned like all the songs.
So
on the
you
set.
had to decide on the spot.
Yes
or no. I'm down.
Like right now, you need to let me know.
When I hang up, I need to figure out
all of our songs on our set.
Okay.
Yep. So basically, she starts busting ass, and learns all the songs on the tour. Flies out like the next day. She's like learning the songs on her headphones, like on the plane.
That's dedication.
Yeah, dude. So she goes on tour and just kills the whole thing. She's touring with I'd Wrestled Bear Once for a good few years at least. Puts out an album with them, which was like amazing. Sick. I'll bring you just a little bit of the visuals here to show you her and the video. But yeah, so time went on, and basically. This is so funny. I just saw it right here. One of the first songs that I Wrestled the Bear Once was known for was called "Tastes Like Kevin Bacon." Oh man, so funny.
That's awesome.
So, anyways, time continues to travel on, and we hadn't heard anything from I Wrestled Bear Once for a good while, or even Courtney or Mike for that matter, until they just started putting out little feelers a little while ago that they had a new project in the works, and then they just
so like they weren't even dropping any audio, they were just mentioning it.
Yeah, they had a bunch of like hype material that they started putting out, like there was like, it was really really well done visuals and stuff like that,
a little campaign run.
Yeah, exactly. And so fucking I'm just showing Adam here a little bit of the I Wrestled Bear Once video. So where is she?
Yeah, point out.
Yeah, this is her.
Oh, okay.
So this is my friend Courtney right here. And so yeah, anyways, they put out the all the teasers towards the new album and everything like that. Then they dropped the first track, and it got such good reviews, and it's so awesome. So anyways, they released their new project, and it's called Spirit Box. Yeah, and it's not just heavy metal by that means.
When did they release it? Do you know?
It was literally a couple days ago. So I'm just gonna try to bring this up here. And you can check it out on like iTunes, Spotify, or even on their Facebook. It's like, I think it's just facebook.com/spiritbox. And
Spiritbox.
Yeah, such a good name. And yeah, I just downloaded the whole EP the other day. Was jamming it in my car. It's like, yeah, here's the visuals for the video. So sick.
For the single?
Yeah. So they did this kind of like this whole crazy like black and white snow VHS themed kind of like creepy hip. I'll put a little bit of this up on the screen here.
Yeah, show these guys.
Yeah, look at these visuals, man. So yeah, it was and it was
oh, that's cool.
It's really cool shit. I'm trying to see. I guess we won't hear it. Okay. No, that's cool. But yeah, I really recommend anybody checking this out if you're into heavy music, rock, like anything of the mix, or even in general, because it was really one of the most refreshing things I've heard in a while, as far as like, let's not just put out the heaviest thing we can make. Let's not just put out something to like offend people or like anything that like whatever. I'm not trying to say that's the label of heavy metal, but it was just it was all around one of the most refreshing pieces of music I've heard in a while. Like it like actually has like a journey to it. You know what I mean? Rather than just like,
this is like a story.
I'm
or
sure
just front to back it flows really well.
Yeah, I'm more of a musical person. As I'm stumbling over my words, I'm literally trying to say that I'm not a lyrical person most of the time. So I'll start off with a piece of music and then I'll tie the whole thing together and then start listening to like the deeper meaning of it from there. So the whole thing cohesively though was just kind of like a really,
I guess like for you probably is production. Is like initially like what hits you is you're like how well
it gets analyzed. That's
right?
for damn sure. Yeah. My fucking ear definitely got ruined after going to school where I can't. It's like hard to just listen to something for like what it is
totally.
Until you get past a certain barrier. But I've gotten a lot better for just being able to appreciate things for what they are nowadays. But having said that, the production value on the album is fucking amazing. And just all in all, they put the work into it. They've been working like hard in the background for like the last couple of years on it. You know what I mean? Like
on this album.
Yeah. So basically just like I'm trying to curate what they want to put out, what's going to be, what direction they wanted to take with it. You know what I mean? Kind of giving it that respect that it deserves kind of thing. Right.
As it should. Right.
Yeah. So, and then I was kind of talking to them and they put out the first single, and the same thing is that they were kind of like, what am I even trying to say here? Maybe the first single that they put out was a bit like heavier than some of the other tracks, or it was just a little bit different direction. So they're worried about like getting labeled as that. And I was just like, nah, like don't worry. The people who are going to be like listening to this are going to appreciate it for what it is. And they once putting out the whole EP, all reactions have just been, this is fucking amazing. Like there hasn't been any of that other thing. So it's like kind of a little insight into that, like all of us as artists are always doubting our best work.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Because like I mean, whatever you're producing, whoever's producing it is going to see or hear the flaw if it exists, right? So you're always going to be worried that it's not up to par. Right. Yeah, so like fully. So it's been refreshing though to like obviously not only hear a piece of music itself that's this well thought out and put together, but then to see the reaction of it, everybody else already being so stoked about it. Yeah. So sorry, I'm watching the video in the background. These visuals are amazing.
Oh, as I freaking so this is right when the song gets heavy.
Dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, they did some amazing shit with this. Like I was blown out of the fucking water with it. So I definitely recommend going and supporting these fine people. Go and pick up their EP because like
I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, it's sick. And like I say, I believe it's on like all different distribution channels and platforms right now. Like, and that leads me into the further thing is that once we get it a bit more things sorted out here, we're gonna be ready to have some guests, and Courtney and Mike are gonna be coming on.
Yes, that'll be dope.
It'll be fun to see a bit more. Just pick their brains about a few other things, you know.
Yeah, and after exposing you guys to their music, and I haven't heard their music yet, so I'm definitely gonna check it out. So it'd be cool to dive into it a bit, see what it's about, and then to get to meet them and find out about their process of making it. And
yeah, dude. Not to mention they're just fucking funny as shit. So just great people to hang out with. So
awesome.
It'll be great to just get this continue this going with other guests and making it more of the hangout and just, you know, breaking those boundaries of comfortability and just trying to like, you know, pick some questions. It's almost like how they do it on like Hot Ones in a weird way where they like break people's guard with the hot wings.
Totally.
And then they're like answering questions and shit they didn't even fucking know. Oh geez.
Yeah, exactly right. They're caught off guard. So they're
yeah.
Did you watch the most recent one, Chris Jericho?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
Oh man,
I definitely need to watch that.
It's funny, yeah.
Or fucking Walls of Jericho.
Because again, like on with shows and podcasting, whatever, when they have names that you recognize,
right?
But you've like, I was like, oh, Chris Jericho. Like, I thought for a second, like, how do I know that name? Then I'm like, oh yeah, wrestling. But then I was like, oh, I don't know anything about this dude. I've never seen an interview with him. Like, all I know is his wrestling persona. Oh, okay. Right. So you're like, oh, cool. Like, because I like finding out about people, you know, like I love watching interviews. So I like to find out what people are about. So I was like, sick. Like, had no idea, right? Yeah. And then you like become more of a fan, or like if you weren't a fan of someone, you may become a fan of them because you're like,
for sure.
You're like, oh, I totally had like an image or like a perception of you that is totally wrong.
Right.
Like just listening to you and finding like how your personality
especially somebody
is.
Like that, you know what I mean? That's in the limelight for being fucking.
He's acting, right? Yeah. So it's like you wouldn't know what his personality is.
And now he's he plays in a rock band, right?
Yeah, he was talking about. Yeah.
Fozzy.
I don't know if it's
Fozzy still, isn't it?
I think it
is. It still Fozzy?
It's rock. Yeah.
Because I remember when he released like the first single of that back in the day when like I used to watch some WWF when it was still fucking wrestling, and I'm pretty sure it's still Fozzy.
Yeah, he was talking about. I think they were talking about going on tour, and then he's got like some books out and stuff.
So yeah, like you'll see him as the wrestler, and then you'll see him as like this like rock and roll guy. So to see him on the Hot Ones, I'm sure it's actually pretty damn good.
Yeah. He was a funny dude. He has some funny stories.
Oh man, and that's the funny thing too. Like, I guess it's not funny, but like with like any like the wrestlers or anybody that's in the entertainment light like that, there's always the craziest stories from that lifestyle because it's just like nonstop touring, nonstop being on the road, meeting people from around the world that are just like,
yeah, exactly right, because you're exposed to so many people, new places, and new situations that you find yourself in that you would normally be in, right? So
right.
Some of these dudes have like some pretty hilarious stories, and you're just like, what the fuck? You're like, how would that ever go down, or how would that ever happen otherwise, right?
Right.
Like, I'm sure you have a million from touring. Like,
oh dude, yes. Yeah, I'm just instantly trying to rack my brain and like I'll lead off with just like,
what's just like one that stands out?
So we were on the tail end of the tour. We basically drove from for anybody that doesn't know, we were based out of just outside of Vancouver, and so we toured from Vancouver to Montreal and did within 29 days there and back, and we played 28 shows. So
in 29 days.
In 29 days, and so basically, when we're Montreal was kind of like our turnaround point. So we drove we're like halfway through our tour or whatever, and we drove from the last show we had it was like an 900 kilometer drive. So, 10 hours kind of thing, some shit, so we're putting along, we get there and we get to Montreal, we show up, we're on our way to the venue, and I
have no idea what's coming.
Dude, we roll up at the venue,
yeah,
and fucking it's boarded up.
The venue.
Yeah. We're like, what? And we see construction workers walking in, and we're like, yo, we're supposed to play a show here tonight. This guy just laughs at us and walks in, and he's like, yeah, okay. And then fucking, we're like,
what? You didn't say anything? He just laughed?
Yeah. And then another guy was like kind enough to like not laugh at us, right? So he's like,
kind enough.
He's like, yo, you're what? You're supposed to play a show here, dude. This place has been closed down for like 3 weeks, or like 2 weeks or some shit. So like the owner of the club never got a hold of us to let us know, hey, we closed down the club, but you're not gonna have a show here, like, by the way.
Okay, so you're saying there's construction, like, were they closed it, or they're renovating it?
No, I think they straight up closed the venue, or at least for all we knew, right? So yeah, we're flabbergasted at this time. Our brains are trying to process the whole thing after just driving so far.
You're like, are you fucking with us?
Yeah,
right?
Ultimately, like, it's prank, bro. Like, but no, it was pretty much just like the biggest form of defeat, and we're just like, no way, like, what the fuck? What do we do? And then we knew that night in Montreal, there's a bunch of these other like big bands that we were fans of. It was Within the Ruins, Chelsea Grin, Attila, and there was another little handful of bands at the time, and basically we're like, fuck it, let's just go see if we can like.
So they were playing nearby then.
Sort of, yeah, about like half hour nearby or something, right? A bit deeper into the city. So we're like, fuck it, like we got nothing left to lose. And then we start getting the half-cocked brained idea that we're like, yo, let's try to get on the show. And we're like, what? Nah, I don't know. And we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's try to get on the show. So we're like, okay, fuck it, let's see what happens. So we went and tried to park the van, and then the other half of the guys went to the venue while we were trying to find a place for the van. And fucking guys get to the venue, and we kind of like have an idea of how shows run at this time. We've been, touring, playing shows and things of that nature. So we show up and we're like, to go look for the back alley with all the vans loading in and all this other stuff. We try to find somebody who's like, it was like the manager or promoter or some shit. And just kind of like half explained our story. Like, yo, we just drove 800 kilometers, blah, 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 fucking show, blah, blah, blah. Like, I remember exactly what the bullshit story was, but essentially I'm with the van and with my other buddy, and we get the phone call being like, get here now. We've got fucking we get 3 songs to play, or 3 or 4 songs to play.
Your homie from your band phoned you.
Exactly.
Because you guys are split up.
Yeah. So he's at the venue and we're stuck in the van, and we're like, whoa, we're like 10 minutes away. He's like, you need to be here faster than that.
He's like, you need to be here 5 minutes ago, right?
Yeah. So fucking buddy was driving the van, goes to turn the van around, and basically almost jackknifes the trailer and gets stuck in a fucking alleyway and is like trying to turn this fucking van around. So then we're like, do we leave the van? Do we run on foot? What do we fucking do? And then like he finally gets it out of the thing, and we show up, and they're literally like, okay, you're gonna have to you can use your guitars, you have to use our amps, our drums. You run up on stage, you've got like 3 songs, and then like that's it.
Go.
And then Attila plays after you. And we're like, what the fuck? What the fuck? We're like, what? So fucking we show up and we're like we're all processing this shit. So much to digest. Yeah, so much to digest. And the whole thing is that like we had like Attila is a huge heavy metal band now. Like I know you're more into like the hip hop scene of that nature, so I'll bring in a bit more into what my world was at the time. But it was like they're now one of the bigger like heavy metal bands for being known for like kind of like
for this generation.
A lot of people get mad saying that, but they're huge because they tied in a lot of like the rap culture style stuff into heavy metal, like partying and flaunting like just ridiculous lyrics that are like they have one video that like made them fucking really big where they're wearing like, when Black and Gold was huge in the hip hop scene, like they're all black, huge fucking gold chains. Like just so they're decked out in that one. There's like girls with fucking massive asses twerking in their heavy metal video, and it's essentially a rap music video. Right. So they tie a lot of the culture together. So to see, anyways, I'm going a bit further down the road here, but they were getting big at the time, and they were known for kind of like party metal, and then they've diverged further into like knowing that like this offensive party metal rap hype thing is a thing. Okay. You know what I mean? To the point where like now they're one of like bigger heavy metal bands for sure. And so anyways, they were we were one of our top playing CDs in our van at the time on tour. So for them to be playing right after us was just like, whoa, that's crazy. No way. So we're like, awesome. We're still shitting our pants in the alleyway. Like, well, okay, what do we do? Like, do we go on now? And they're like, okay, no, actually you've got about 10 minutes, 15 minutes till you go on. And so we're like just chilling in the alleyway with our stuff, and fucking we end up getting to meet all of Attila. And like I start kind of like connecting with Chris Franzek was the singer. Okay. Cause he's a very entrepreneurial mind guy himself too. So like we kind of like, and
on that level.
Yeah.
Connected. Yeah. Except
for the fact that he also loves to smoke hella weed and all this shit. So I'm a bit of a big stoner. And I like to smoke some weed myself. So naturally we had a fair bit of green with us on the road. So he kind of finds out we're from BC, and then I'm like, yo, you want to get high as fuck? Like, let's get high as fuck. So it's just like start getting him and all the band. Like we're just like blazing fucking mad joints, getting so high with all of Attila before we go on stage.
And so then this is the 10-minute warning you have.
Exactly. So, but then it gets to the point where like, yo, let's hang out after the fucking show and this whole thing. And so fucking it turns into this whole fiasco. And then we also find out at the time that Chelsea Grin, this other big metal band. Their singer wasn't on tour with them because I think he was just had fucked up his throat recently or something. So another singer from this other big metal band, Oceano, was filling in for him. Mm-hmm. And like, I was a huge Oceano fan, and freaking Adam from Oceano is just like this, like he's not tall, but he's just like this massive, like jacked dude, fucking, he's got fucking. So anyways, I'm kind of going a bit ahead of this, is that after the show, we play with the whole show with them, and fucking, I want to show you a little bit of.
Yeah, so how'd the show go?
It was amazing.
So did you guys have, so you played 3 songs?
Yeah, so we only got to play 3 songs. So do you
have like 3 go-to that all you guys were just like, okay, we're going to go.
We just basically picked a portion of our set.
Okay.
And we're like, fucking, like, okay, these 3.
Like this one? No,
yeah, okay. And if we have time, we'll do this other one.
Yeah.
So fucking Adam is this big black guy. But he seems so intimidating. Like his vocals and everything are so jacked. Fucking gnarly. And this is like, they're one of the heaviest fucking bands too. And so there's Adam right there.
The guy in the white tee.
White tee. He's fucking like just the boss man. So fucking he's throwing down for Chelsea Grin doing vocals for them. Attila plays after us. Chelsea Grin headlines, and then show finishes up, and we're like, "Yo, you want to get high again?" So we're just like, we're chilling with all these people. We get high as fuck, and then we're like, everybody's like, "Oh, yo, let's go to this local ice cream parlor. There's an ice cream parlor, pizza shop, like right down the street or whatever." And so we're like,
"Yo, let's go to this local ice cream parlor."
Yeah, it was perfect, right? They're
that open was literally until, the cherry on top for the night, eh?
So this is like what the story. Why I even went to the story. You said interesting things. Okay, yeah. Right? So we're sitting in this place. We all got our ice cream. I got like a sliced pizza, fucking eating a little bit of ice cream, get some blood sugar back. And like sitting with Attila, and Adam from Oceano walks in. I've only ever known him as the guy on stage. On videos, intimidating as fuck.
He just, I mean, I don't just for time to see him, but he seems super high energy.
Yeah, like, super high energy, and he's got the heaviest vocals you've ever heard. He walks in, and he's got his little tiny reading glasses on, and fucking like his just like jacket, and then he walks up to the counter and gets this little tiny ice cream with like the sample, the taster spoon, and he just kind of walks up and he's like, "Hello, fellas." And he's just like eating his little ice cream, and he's so solemn and so quiet, but just seeing this guy that you've known for being like so aggressive, and like he's just like the chillest dude ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, and then we just got to like have like good conversation and just like hung out with all the dudes afterwards. And then that was the hilarious part of the night that stood out. And then on top of just like an amazing experience where we ended up following them because we didn't have a show the next day. So we followed them to their show the next day on the possibility of maybe getting on.
Yeah.
And then it just ended up, we just like hung out with fucking Attila and got high as fuck in their van, and we hotboxed. This is so funny. This just goes to show you Attila's attitude. They parked their van in front of the venue, and it was a big 15-passenger bus that used to be a
like one of those shuttle buses.
Yeah, but for kids school camp or some shit. So it still had the stickers on the side that said kids school bus or kids school camp, or with like a little smiley star face on the side and shit. They park it right in front of the venue, and he's just like, "Yo, let's just go blaze in the van." I'm like,
and they're just hotboxing.
And I'm like, right there? And they're just like, "Yeah, fuck it." So not only that, there's a bunch of our band, there's Attila, and then they bring a bunch of fans with them. So we had like 16 people inside this van, just fucking smoking mad weed in front of the venue, hotboxing it up. And then when we didn't get into the show or didn't get to play, but we just like hung out with them before and after. And then
you didn't like even get to watch it?
No, it was really weird. They were just like, the venue owners were like, nah. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. We did get to see
after all that.
Yeah, we did get to see a portion of the show, but then when we find out that we weren't playing, a bunch of because we had another band that was with us.
Yeah.
We were just like, fuck it, let's just go meet up with them. And like,
okay.
I was trying to piece together the last bit of that story, but yeah, it was just a crazy fucking couple of days of just like that same thing where I was like, well, let's go see if we can get on the show.
Like the beginning of your story, you're at a high, right? You're like, literally, you're like, okay, we're gonna play the show, and then you get there, boom, place is closed. Then you're at such a low, right? And then
dude.
Boom, you're like, okay, we had this idea, fuck it, like we're gonna try to go check out this other venue where these guys are playing, and then boom, you get in. Like, how awesome is that? Hey,
dude, so gnarly, man. And then from there to like when me and Franz, like we were talking, like I say, I found out very, very early on how entrepreneurial minded he was. Guy's a fucking millionaire now, and like collects Ferraris, Lamborghinis. He has a Mercedes G-Wagon. He just picked up his Huracan a little while ago. And yeah, like he's doing pretty well for himself.
Still doing the music thing.
Yeah, still doing the music thing. He has a clothing company, a bunch of other shit. Doing the fucking Instagram money flex.
Maybe throw it up for people to see this guy.
Doing a little Flexington.
Yeah, subtle, eh? Yo, babe, can you hold this? You're hot? Oh, just fan yourself down.
There's him and his family in front of the G-Wagon doing their fucking Addams Family gig.
Yo, G-Wagons though.
Right?
That's like, if I had the money, that'd be my bougie item.
For me, this would be my bougie item.
They're so sick.
I want the Lambo.
The Lambo?
Fuck. But yeah, it's so crazy, like to go from that point where that, like, you know, they were just the band that was that one little step above where we were kind of at the time. Like they had like just put out their first record on a fucking label. We're not quite headlining tours, but we're on some pretty big tours, to the point where they just like kept grinding it out and found a niche and carved it out and treated it like a business, and fucking. Yeah, they receive a lot of hate, but a lot of times that fucking helps their publicity, you know?
People hating on them, like...
Oh, yeah.
In the media? Like you mean? So it's
just from like within the music scene and then within the media and shit like that, just like because they're doing well. Or because the things they'll like fucking sing about to get that response, and then they give him that like response. You know what I mean? Like he'll fucking rap.
Trolling almost.
Yeah. He'll sing about some like, I wouldn't say like crazy offensive shit, but like just like literally make vocals to get a rise out of people, and then people give him the reaction that he's literally trying to get, and he's like, sweet, thanks for the publicity. Like
he's like, sick.
Yeah,
my plan worked.
Yeah, like they have like, what the fuck's his I'm trying to remember what his fucking, he has a saying for his clothing company, and it's fucking just like
the motto of it.
Yeah, because Stay Sick is his clothing company.
Stay sick.
And it's literally just like something with fuck in it. Like it's just like, it's for like
something with fuck in it.
Yeah, suck my fuck.
Suck my fuck.
Yeah, that's one of
that's their slogan.
That's one of it. Yeah, that's one of his lyrics that got turned into a slogan. So then like all the fucking well, that the demographic that they're going after, the 13 to 16-year-old angsty kids,
probably like, sick, yeah. Like
I was saying with myself, wearing fucking Stormtroopers the Death t-shirts to fucking
kill yourself.
Yeah, wearing Kill Yourself Stormtroopers the Death t-shirts to school to get a rise out of them. You know, I would be doing the same thing if I was younger. I'd be wearing fucking suck my fuck.
Suck my fuck. It's the take your shirt off and jacket, right?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's all that same kind of thing. Speaking of, did you fucking listen to the Tom DeLonge podcast on fucking JRE?
No.
Boys, batshit crazy.
What do you mean?
Fucking, so Tom DeLonge, Blink 182,
yeah,
is like full blown conspiracy theorist on like UFOs and like
flat Earth.
Not quite there, okay. but he's
borderline.
It was insane, man. You definitely got to check it out, because he's just like, he goes so overboard into the deep end of just like, to the point where like Joe's looking at Jamie being like, what the fuck is this guy going on about? Like,
just like, fuck,
they're mocking, like essentially mocking him like while he's there.
Really?
Yeah, because he's so crazy. Like they'll ask him about something and he'll be like, I can't tell you about that. Yeah, no, I can't tell you about that. You're gonna have to
wait. So like shit where he's like, as if he's speaking from experience, like, oh, I've seen some shit.
Yeah. I'm
like, I can't tell you about
exactly.
it.
I'm too deep into this stuff that I can't tell you about certain things.
That's the classic line. Eh?
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you don't know? Oh, you know? Tell me about it. Oh, I wish I could, bro. I can't tell you.
Dude.
Yeah, sorry.
Speaking of things that we were just talking about, like, I brought up Elon Musk a little while ago. I'm always watching new shit on Elon Musk, because he's got new shit that comes out every fucking week. New crazy ideas and stuff. Have you seen the Boring Company that he's doing?
Boring Company?
Yeah. So with him, he always likes
another new company?
A whole nother new company. So
Damn.
He always likes to put a little humor to his stuff, right? Like apparently, like in his
like plays on words and shit.
Yeah, plays on words and stuff like that. So the whole company it's a tunneling company, and he's like, it's not very exciting. Blah 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 blah. So we need to name the Boring Company.
Lol.
Wop wop wop.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna basically look up this video of this shit. Is that his whole thing? Is that he is digging tunnels? He's already digging these tunnels underneath LA, extremely low below the surface, and he's going to be building these tunnels inside of it for transporting cars. So essentially,
tunnels for transporting cars.
Yeah, dude. So it's a whole new transportation system. Let me just quickly go. The Boring Company. So basically roads? What it is, it's
like for just normal people to use. You mean?
No, it gets crazy. So basically, I'm going to bring up the video and then I'll explain it while it's going on.
The Boring
here.
Company.
So his whole idea is that like everybody thought in the future is that like we were going to go upwards, and he's just like, nah, that shit gets unsafe, So what you'll do is you'll drive up to one of these little stalls that are like a regular parking size stall, and you'll pull up onto one of these little skates, which then there's like these metal skate that's kind of like the size of a parking stall that gets dropped down below underground.
Dude, this
into
is
these
like
series of tunnels.
This is like fuck, what's that movie? Is there iRobot? That Will Smith one when he's like,
maybe
this is what that shit looks like. The underground
so then
highways.
the skate that your car gets put on is on a series of rails, so you don't need to actually have large tunnels because you're not having to worry about people fucking around. So your car gets shut off and you get put on one of these rails. It goes up to 200 kilometers an hour and basically goes directly to wherever it's going.
This is all underground.
And his whole thing was that basically people were like freaking out, like, oh, blah blah blah, like, won't we be able to like tell that you're digging holes, or isn't this gonna be bad for the earth, and blah blah blah.
Shit gonna collapse.
And he's just like no, we figured the whole thing out, so that we'll be digging so below the earth, which you can see in this here, that you won't even be able to tell that we're digging, like
to hear even.
Yeah, he's like, and he goes, so much to the point that if you have a machine that's powerful enough to register us digging, you're going to make a lot of money because people are looking for something of that powerful. Like, he's so confident that nobody will be even able to seismically tell that they're digging tunnels. What? So having said that, they're like, yeah, when we're digging at that depth, we can just dig as much as we want. So we can dig as many tunnels as far as we want to anywhere. And it's just like a direct 200 kilometer an hour tunnel that just shoots you there wherever you need to go. And you're there like within, a couple hours.
What the fuck, dude? This guy's crazy, man.
Yeah.
How does he... Okay, he has like these concepts, and then it seems like next week it's like in production.
Yeah.
Because like, not only... I mean, we now know that you have the money. Like, what was it, like 20.5 billion or something like that?
Oh, dude, yeah, but for sure. And that's just his money, not his investor fucking money,
Not only
right?
do you need money, but you need fucking contacts and like
here's the first
resources.
Tunnel test.
Oh, shit.
So this is the cutter head that they're using for the Boring Company. This is the first tunnel.
How much did that cost?
And then they have the first 200 kilometer test run in this video too. Wow. Yeah, so he knows how to get all that investor capital money, man, because it's like he's got his own money, but then like for these ones, look, here's the first 200 kilometer an hour test. It just hops on the rail, and because it's all electric, it can accelerate like instantly. Oh, what the fuck?
Holy shit, dude.
Wow.
It's picking up speed.
And dude, like they showed in that other video
Holy
before. Holy
shit.
That's insane.
Dude, it looks like light speed. Hey?
I'm so down for this. Oh my
god, it's gonna trigger a seizure.
Bam. Stone.
Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, this guy's insane.
Yo, do you think they'll eventually have those when it'd be like, oh, Vancouver, boom, welcome to Cali. Like, just hop on the
I think
fucking...
that's ultimately the idea with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like
you can connect cities and...
Yeah. Ultimately, I mean, you just have to dig deep enough, right?
Whoa. It's a super highway.
Yeah. Yeah, he's nuts, man. Like, I started reading more into that shit, and I was just like, what the fuck? And like they showed in that first video, he's thinking of pods that you don't even have to put your car up on, that are just like a room that you walk into. And it's just
like
on the rail
style.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw it in that one fucking video. There's just so much happening.
But like, you know what I'm talking about? Like eventually you won't even need the vehicle. It's like you'll just go in the tube as a person and you'll just be fucking total Futurama style.
So look at where was it?
Was it in the background?
It was later on in the video. Yeah, here we go. So right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a pod that's just full of people, and it's like a fucking room.
Yeah, it's like a fucking bus stop bench.
Yeah. And you get into that little thing, you're chilling with your homies, and then you just fucking do a little podcast in this little room while we're on our way to fucking the event. You know?
Dude. So sick.
I just kept going down further and further roads with him. Like, anytime I do, like, he'll explain 10 new things in any interview you watch with him. And his new idea, well, it's not his new idea, but his idea that he wants to go full-fledged with the autonomy in his cars and stuff like that. Like, you know, a lot of them already, they can drive themselves and shit. Yeah. Is that he wants to have a series of autonomy in these vehicles where it helps them pay for themselves. So essentially, the autonomy in its car almost becomes like an Uber, where when you're not using your car and you go to work, you just fucking put it in AI mode or whatever, and then somebody else needs a car or needs a lift somewhere, the car goes and picks them up, makes money.
So you can like lease out your car while you're not using it. Exactly.
So your car drives to wherever it's going on its own, picks up a person or some shit, and then you make money off of it. But then people are like, oh, what about the privacy factor, blah blah blah, the whole thing. You could set it up so only your family can use it, only your friends can use it or whatever.
Oh, so sometimes a code, or they have like a thing to scan.
Yeah. So like you can like literally just like have a sharing service, anything similar to like how you have on social media, where you're like, I only want these pictures seen by this person. It's literally that with your fucking vehicle, but it pays for itself.
What?
Yeah, dude, the guy's insane, man.
He's so like, he's obviously so smart, but like those type of ideas are like,
oh man, where he's just like, yeah, why wouldn't you want to have your car pay for itself?
You're like, holy fuck, like that totally makes sense. You're like, why isn't that a thing?
Yeah.
Right?
It's so nuts, man.
This guy must be, how busy do you think? Like all the shit this guy has going on. He must have a million people working for him. Either he's so busy, nonstop checking stuff, meetings, like phone calls with people, emails, or he just has so many assistants that he's just.
But the crazy shit is though,
he's just kicking back. He's just the idea guy. He's like, oh, I think of this. Yo, you like run with that.
But the crazy aspect of it though is he understands and has worked through every portion of every single thing that he puts out. So apparently when the people like go through like a tour with him through one of his like SpaceX, and he wants to show off his rockets or some shit, and that sounds really funny. So he's showing off his rockets, and like, but apparently he knows the engineering behind every single piece behind it. So he's
able to do it, like do the tours, because he's that knowledgeable.
Exactly. So it's not just he's just coming up with random ideas, you figure it out. He's like, oh, I figured this out. Can you like build, like, you know what I mean? Can you help me accelerate this process just by like hiring all the right people and like making crazy
like that's
shit
how much
happen?
He cares, that he's like he finds out about the shit. He's not just like stepping on the backs of geniuses.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. It's so insane, dude. So it's just like, I think that'll probably welcome to Musk Minutes on the Deep Seated Podcast. Like that's straight up like a segment right there. Like,
dude, yeah,
every fucking couple weeks.
The Monday Elon Musk report. Like,
exactly.
What's
dude.
homie doing now?
What the hell is this guy up to, man? Because it's just like, last thing I heard, it was the Hyperloop, and now all of a sudden he's already got the Boring Company underway, and they just did the 200-kilometer test that we watched.
Yeah, like you just said, and I was like, oh, I've never heard of this company, and you're like, yeah, check it out, and then you're like, holy fuck, this is an example of it. They already have an example made.
Yeah. What? Dude, and then to the point, have you heard about his? I'm gonna keep going with the shit. The solar roof panels.
Yeah,
dude. Where it's just like they're gonna be cheaper or as the same cost to install as regular fucking tar shingle roofs. And then it'll pay for itself.
Like, that makes no sense.
And to the point where he said that they will actually outlast the house. So when the house falls down into rubble because of decay.
So rather than saving like rebar and shit, they're going to save the solar panels.
People are going to be sifting through old torn down houses or decayed houses for the roofing shingles, because they will outlast any of our other building materials. What?
Yeah. Shouts out, Elon.
yo, shout out, man. Making this world actually a little bit better place. One of the few people.
Props to you, sir.
No shit, man. Like,
dude,
I would have. Let's go back a couple podcasts. I would have been out with fucking 165 mil at 21.
I think almost anyone would.
Peace.
Right? Like, fuck.
Do the fucking Richard Branson, buy my own island, and then island gets destroyed in recent hurricanes. Did you hear about that? There was a couple billionaires or really rich people that had bought islands, and now there's nothing left.
Like, did they build on it, or they bought them with?
No, they bought them and like built them, and there was people on the island and all this other shit. Now there's no people. There's nothing. Everything's gone.
Fuck.
Crazy. You imagine you're just like, I'm coming up in life. I just bought my own island.
I'm coming up in life.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Insert DJ Khaled. Woo!
we were the best because your island's now gone.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, crazy shit. Mother doesn't give a fuck how much. I mean, Mother Nature doesn't give a fuck how much money you have.
Yeah, just.
Or
dude.
what, or anything.
And speaking of people owning islands, doesn't Johnny Depp? Doesn't he own? He owns an island.
A few, probably.
If not a few.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Oh my god, he's
like that status in life, hey? When you're like buying islands, or you're like Nick Cage and you're buying castles. You know about that?
No.
You don't know about that? Oh my god.
Nick Cage has a castle collection?
Dude. Yeah, I guess after doing like those like National Treasure movies and stuff.
Right.
Like piqued his interest in like that kind of shit. Yeah, he bought a castle. And he had to file for bankruptcy. Did you hear about that?
No shit.
Because he just went off on this crazy tangent, like you're saying. Oh, if I had 165 million, I would.
Yeah.
He reached that level when he was like, "Oh, I bought a castle. I'm buying." He was just buying like crazy shit that he had to file for bankruptcy.
Nick Cage, what a crazy bastard, right? Man.
Like, he's funny. He's so dope, but he's like the ultimate B actor, hey? He's the A-list B actor.
For sure.
Which is crazy because he was
so good at playing
huge.
Crazy.
Like when we were young, like he was like the Tom Cruise at the time, you know, he was the most famous actor.
Yeah, you would always kind of play those like a little bit of a maniacal character or something like that, but you would always like expect it. You would know what kind of acting you were going to be getting out of him because you're like, oh, this is going to have that over the top kind of.
What is it like, dude? Con Air?
Fucking one of my favorites, Face Off.
Yeah, I was gonna Face Off.
And then let's like Face Off, like Face Off.
What else did he do?
Oh man, fucking almost Gone in 60. It was Gone in 60 Seconds, wasn't
it? Yeah. But that was a remake too.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was young as fuck when that came out, so I didn't know it was a remake.
Yeah, me neither. That was like the P Diddy Biggie remix when he was doing Wish You Were Here, or not Wish You Were Here.
You're talking about the Godzilla single when he sampled Led Zeppelin.
That one too. But the Every Breath I Take. Fucking, it was, which I bought as a single
tribute.
For when Biggie died, I bought it as a single CD that they slapped in a few other filler songs on, and you'd have to pay like $16 for a fucking single CD. Like, we're like, what the fuck? I think I still have that somewhere actually. But yeah, you're like jamming along to the song, and then somebody else is like, yo, you know that's fucking an old school song from back in, and you're like, what?
So funny. This guy that I used to work with, he was a little bit older than me. He's like in his 40s now, so him and I really clicked because we really liked music,
right?
So we would always be talking about music, and he's a DJ, so he has like the most insane vinyl collection I've ever seen. So he's like, as you would assume, super into music and like sampling, especially mixing stuff. And one day we were how did it come up? We were just listening to music and that Led Zeppelin song and then it came up with the P Diddy remix, the Godzilla soundtrack. And I was like, man, like, how good is this, like the sample that they use, let alone the actual Zeppelin song, right?
Yeah.
And he was laughing. His wife is like 15 years younger than him or something, right? And he was like shaking his head. He's like, oh man, he's like talking about that song, and he's listening to the Led Zeppelin one, and then his wife was like, oh, isn't this the P. Diddy song? And he was just like, just cringed, and he's like, no. He's like, they sampled this, man. Right? Like,
that's
but
exactly
it's like, it shows like when people don't know when something's sampled or where it's from, right? They only know what the sample
right.
is used, right? So she had no idea it was like that he sampled it from something.
I'm trying to remember who was talking about this on something I was listening to, but essentially it was like how kids today is exact same thing will only maybe know the person from the meme that they're taking place.
Yeah.
And they were talking about how Michael Jordan and the crybaby face, and then they would only know him for the crybaby face, so
not from playing basketball,
not for being the fucking legend that he is. So the kids today will walk up to him and be like, "You the crybaby face, man, do the crybaby face for
like,
me."
just foreign people or something. That may not know.
And he's just like, "Yo, I'm fucking Michael Jordan." Like,
dude, that must imagine how fucking choked you would be.
It's so demeaning, like
so demeaning. Oh my god, like
you the crybaby face, man.
Your whole career is just like overlooked for a fucking meme.
Fucking meme.
Just
so like fucking
just such a low point. Like you're so vulnerable, right? Like when you're like emotional or like upset, someone sniped that photo of you. And that's just like what people know you from now. Like it was a super vulnerable moment
just
in your life.
Meme town, fucking. And then now we're seeing fucking go back some full circle shit. You're just seeing the people that are playing off of the shit where they become a meme and then launch their music career off of being a meme. That's a thing now. Is that you launch your career off of being a meme.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, this is happening a few times. No, this is a common occurrence now.
Mm-hmm.
Like from meme to stardom. Like.
Yeah, like what could you compare a meme to? Like now, like what a meme's worth is to before like the internet.
Right.
Like what could you? Because it puts you on.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like what?
I think it might have been the same thing as like just maybe like ridiculous rumors or some shit. Like think about the crazy rumors you heard about like Marilyn Manson when you were a kid. You know what I mean? Guy removed 2 of his fucking own ribs so he could give himself blowies. And to the point where people were like, man, I watched his VHS, his home videos, and he would take a needle and put it into his own eyeball, and then he pulled his eyeball out, and like people were like saying shit like
his eyeball
people were saying shit like clearly didn't happen.
Yeah.
He's just wearing 2 different color eye contacts. Like they said that he put a different color eye in and like all this stupid shit. And you're like, so that's
like, what is this fucking Minority Report?
So that's how far-fetched things to get, where you kind of you forget how far removed you were at the time, where like these like it's like kids playing telephone. Just like
fucking I forget who it was. Stand up I watched and they were talking about that. Exactly use that scenario where if I tell you something, you tell someone else. Right. Filtered out it will get. Yeah. So like if you tell like a kid sitting in a circle, like tell someone something, he tells it to the next person, next. It gets back to you. Yeah. And it's like nowhere near the same fucking thing.
No, not even close, man. Frig. I've been so reminded of like that same, remember like, well, you know, the time period, that's when we grew up, pre-internet. I've been so reminded of that now by why I'm so tired today, is I just started watching the Stranger Things last night.
Ooh, yeah.
Finally did it, my friend. I know you're a recent of it as well, right?
Well, I watched it when it came out, season 1 when it came out.
You were just doing a recap as
last year. I watched it right away when it came out.
Right.
Fucking dude, the Duffer Brothers. Wow.
Is that who's producing it?
Those are the guys that wrote it and directed it.
Right.
Dude, for the people that have watched that show, those guys, they totally embodied that era, like to a T. Like and that show is based in 1984. And that's
exactly what I've been like led me into this, was that like I felt so nostalgic watching it because it brought me back to those pre-internet times where your only worry was what's around you, and then like what drives you creatively and like inspires you as like, you know, having fun and like, you know, makes your friends have a good time and shit. Like
and kids like go to each other's houses to do like
every day.
Yo, is Mike home?
Yeah. Like
he's like, oh no, he's
see
not
you tomorrow
here.
as he rides off on his bike and
now
shit.
kids at home are just like, they'll like message you or just text or something, right? They just won't even call you, talk on the phone.
The realisticness is nowadays it's send a meme gif over fucking Messenger, and then just like and then just like that's like your conversation with most people.
That's your like hangout of the day.
Yeah. So it's like,
where back when you would like hop on your bike or skateboard, or you would walk to your homie's house to see if you'd knock on their door, see if they're there, and they'd answer the door, be like, yo, what's up? And then you'd be like, yo, okay, yeah, come in. And then you just fucking hang out all day. That's all you do, is you just hang out, like play video games, whatever, go fuck off, like play outside. Like
within one of the first few episodes. No, I think it was in the first episode. Yeah, it was in the first episode. I'm only
season 1. We're talking.
I'm in season 1. I'm only like 5 episodes deep right now, because that's all I could cram in last night before I fell asleep. I was like, I'm gonna watch 1 episode. Turned into fucking 5. I went to bed at 4 a.m. I'm just like, oh. But in that episode, when they were like, it illustrated that exact thing you were talking about, where kids would just get together and go into a world and hang out. Was that they come upstairs after playing fucking D&D, and they're like, yeah, I've been executing that plan. I didn't expect it to take 10 hours though. And it's like, you've been playing for 10 hours? And it's just like, because the parents were so far removed too, that they didn't even know that their kids were,
they probably forgot they were even down there.
Exactly. Which gets exposed a lot in that show, to show you the latchkey generation that we grew up in. They capture that so perfectly. Like, just say you're sleeping over at my house tonight and we're studying. Parents like, oh, okay, that's enough. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, you're like, okay, cool. Yeah.
No checking up if they're there. No picking them up. No taking them home. No. So then kids would just, this is a classic thing back in the day. We used to do this a lot. Like it would work best in 3s, because there would usually be like, you would want to go stay at so-and-so's house because like parents were away or something, or you'd want to party.
Got a new video game or something.
Got a new video game or something fucked up, depending on what time period it was in your life. And then you would tell your parents that you're staying over at fucking Steve's, and then Steve's would tell his parents that they were staying at your house, and then you would both have an alibi to be away at this person's house, and then there was no need or any form of checking up on it. So it was like
all your bases were covered.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So like literally you see that so many times in the show, where it's just like, oh, just tell them this. And then
it's so accurate.
It's so accurate.
Dude, we've done that. Yeah.
And it was just like that, definitely that. And then they nailed it with all the music.
Dude, the music, the outfits,
the visual. Yeah, outfits.
Dude, like the cars.
Yeah.
The decorations in houses, furniture, the
wallpapers and shit.
Yeah, wallpaper, the food. Like,
yeah, no, they nailed it, man.
Like cans of pop, they like boxes of any food you see. Like, it's all like authentic. And it's like, it sucks you in.
Yeah, it helps with this immersion.
Yeah. That you're convinced this is the 80s and this is what's going on. You're not like picking out, oh, this is made last year and focusing on how fake shit looks or something. You're just totally like, oh, I'm totally convinced like this is what I'm watching. You don't
It'd be
think
one of
those
things like it would be interesting for like the younger generation to like, if you're gonna go binge watch that show, turn your fucking phone off. Do nothing but watch that show, and like just to get an idea
of what it used to
be.
Of what life used to be.
Yeah, it used to just be like hanging out.
So simple, man.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? So I always try to remember that stuff, and like that's why I remove myself from a lot of social media. Like it's so
easy to get sucked in, especially when you use your platform as like portfolio, like me, or as a business like you.
So I use it as like my business platforms and stuff of that nature, but then to being able to find that separation and being able to like enjoy that shit as a kid again, like where like
to only use it as like that purpose, and then put it down,
and then start finding the things that actually bring you joy and value, and like but man, I'm stoked to continue watching, and I've heard pretty damn good things about season 2 so far. So
it came out on like Thursday night or Friday.
Yeah.
I started it Friday, watched maybe 2 episodes, and then I watched a bunch yesterday, and then I finished episode 9 today, the last one.
Oh, okay.
So good.
Shit. Man. So there's 9 episodes in the second season?
Yeah.
How many are in the first?
The same, I think. I would assume.
Okay.
I'm not 100%, but
I'm going to try to
it's not like fucking what's that show Lost, where it's like 22 or 24 episodes a season,
which it's reminded me of Lost in certain ways. Just where like
because the monsters.
No, in the sense where you can tell a lot of times the producers or the guys behind it will have like, you could tell that they've always had certain visuals in their mind that they've wanted to get out, and now they have a platform for it.
And the Netflix budget.
Yeah, and the Netflix budget. Or the Lost budget when they had it. You know what I mean? It was just like, they were just kind of like, okay, well, we have this wacky show. Let's not...
This wacky show.
Yeah, like, let's not box it in and say we can only do these certain things. You know what I mean? I'm going to try not to reveal, like, certain things about the show, even though...
Spoilers.
I'm not going to spoiler alert it.
Okay, that brings me to my next point. And sorry to cut you off. They also added on Netflix... like a talk show thing for Stranger Things, where they sit down and discuss the show with some of the cast members.
Oh shit!
Right? So kind of like, remember Walking Dead had the Talking Dead?
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it's basically the same thing. So there's, I think it was 7 episodes they have of it.
Right.
Okay, so for you and for people that have seen it on Netflix but haven't watched it yet, don't watch the talk show thing until you're finished the second season, like everything, sense. Even the last episode, because last night I watched 8 of the 9 episodes for the second season, and then I was kind of like, I need to take a break. I'm gonna save the last episode for tomorrow, right? Because they're like 45 to an hour long. Yeah. And then these talk show ones, I noticed it. I'm like, oh, it's already up. Like, I'm gonna check it out. So I was like reading about it. And it's just like 22 minutes, and I was like, oh, fuck it, I'll throw like the first one on, right? And within like 5 minutes, it had shown a clip from the final episode that I haven't seen yet. And then I was like,
you fuck.
I caught it. I was like, no, I haven't seen that yet. And I was like, fuck, because I was assuming that the first episode maybe talk about the first season, or maybe the first few episodes of the second season, but right away they mentioned something about the finale. So don't watch that talking
for sure
thing about it
unless
until
you're like one of those people
finished.
That somehow doesn't give a fuck about spoilers. But if that's the case, you're probably a sociopath.
Yeah, because that show's so good. Like, dude, yeah, that show's solid.
Well, it's funny because we were both talking about it like earlier on, is that like we're one of those people who don't want to watch fucking trailers for movies and shit and go into it fresh. So you get something like that where they're just now talking about the show and like the final episode, you're like, no,
yeah, you
fucks, man.
Yeah,
but yeah, a great show. I'm so impressed with it already. It's just like, there's nothing that like I've really wanted to nitpick.
And even the intro, the intro's sick, man.
Have you
like
seen
the music and
how they made the intro?
No.
Oh,
like how
man.
they did the visuals.
Yeah, how they did the visual behind it.
No.
It was fucking brilliant, man. Like, that's all done analog. That's not done in a digital realm. So they actually they wanted to be able to get that natural light, right? That, because you know how there's like the light shining behind the letters and shit.
And then goes through the letters into
the
scene.
So they actually cut out the letters from like a piece of card or some shit, put a piece of filament paper behind it, and then lit it from like, they held it up and then like mounted on a thing, like, and then so they had a tripoded camera shooting right at it, and then they would shine different lights behind it, and then they brought that portion into a computer digitally, and then did the moving of the letters. So that portion was digitally manipulated, but the lighting and everything is just simple analog. Fucking same thing with all the instruments that they used are all 80s analog synthesizers.
The synth shit.
And shit from the time, old Moogs and all this shit. And so that's why they're able to help capture that vibe, because they're using tools from the time. You know what I mean? So it's
so good, man.
So good.
Like the amount of work and thought that they've put into that show and the script and everything. Yeah. Like, man, it shows.
And then just even the way where they did one of my favorite things from movies and stuff back in the day, it was where they really like almost over characterize their characters. So like each one is almost like a stereotype. You know what I mean? Like to the point where even with the main kids, they have like the archetype kids that you know, this type of kid's gonna like this guy, this type of kid's gonna like this guy, this kind of kid's gonna like Dustin because he likes food, and like, you know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So it's like when you're watching Three Ninjas Kick Back as a kid, you're like, and like I was like, I'm Chunk, because like I was like, you know what I mean? He's the little fat kid running around. I like donuts.
They hit those notes for people to identify with.
Exactly, and they have that with all their characters throughout it. Like they're caricatures. They're like, Like I was kind of what I'm saying is like, I find that they almost try to make everybody to grand relatable nowadays in movies and stuff, rather than letting them be that caricature and like be a bit more over the top within that lane.
Yeah, which might make it a bit hard for people to relate.
But it'll relate so hard to somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're trying to blanket relate rather than make that distinct character for like what they are and shit. And it's yeah, man, the character development has been amazing on that show. Like, dude, yeah. Literally, I'm just gonna say something about within the first episode when they introduce you to the sheriff.
Yeah.
And
dude, I love that character, man.
Me too, dude. He's become one of my favorite characters. Yeah. From what my initial reaction was how they introduce him. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched the first episode. If you haven't watched the first episode yet. Yeah, this isn't even a big spoiler. This is just how they introduce him. He's like wakes up in his bed and he's swilling a beer, having a smoke, grabs some pills. Shit, right? This total piece of shit. Yeah. And then in your brain you're like, wow, look at this guy having to fucking, like, you don't even know he's a sheriff yet, right? You're just like
coping with something.
Yeah, this guy's that's exactly it. This guy's coping with something and he's getting ready for a job that he fucking hates. And like, then all of a sudden he puts on his sheriff uniform, goes out the door, and you're like, oh. Whoa, and then the more and more you find out about him, it just all makes sense.
Dude, and even in the second season, up until I think it was the last episode, you find out another thing about him.
No shit.
And you're like,
I would believe it.
You're like, shit.
I would believe it. And you just see it. You see that drive. Sense.
You find out like something again about someone's backstory, even like from knowing about them for so long. And then you're like, oh, fuck. It totally makes sense.
And then you can even see they plot the characters in the show that question him for face value without knowing the backstory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and you almost kind of like defend them, like in the moment. You're like, "Fuck you! You don't know what this guy's.
You don't know what's going on with this motherfucker." Like, oh, so good. I'm so glad that like I hopped in, and I mean everything at its right point in time. I've just been too busy to be able to have time to focus on a show like that. But I was just like, you know what, I need to do.
Yeah, and you just can't hop into something where you have to have your full attention.
Yes,
like you're like, if I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna fucking watch it.
And
I'm like, no distractions, right? So like, if you're just hustle, busy, like, you'll get to it when you get to it.
Oh yeah. And fucking man, there you go. Last night, 5 episodes down, one go. Dude, I'm gonna watch one.
I'm glad you got into it, man. It's one of my favorite shows that I've ever watched.
And it's funny too, because I'm not like, it's not horror. That show's definitely not horror, but it has that like thriller, like sci-fi.
It's definitely like that 80s kind of.
And that's
horror,
that's
like thriller, like,
that's old school horror. You know, that's the way where it used to be done, where it was the way shit was filmed.
It's like eerie.
Yeah, it wasn't showing you everything that's graphic as fuck.
Not specifically like shit that was terrifying.
Yes,
it was more just that mood it would set, the tone.
The way that the scene that I always will turn people to if they know the movie, fucking Scarface, is the chainsaw scene.
Oh.
One of the most gruesome scenes.
The shower curtain.
Yeah, like but shit. They don't show a single thing. As for, like in a movie nowadays, they'd be just like, yeah, to really get to people, we have to show the fucking, you know, the
less is more.
Exactly. And you just get to hear this guy screaming and the blood splattering on the shower curtain, and like as the chainsaw is just cutting, you can hear the chainsaw cutting through bone and flesh.
There's so many examples of that, like Fargo with.
See, that's the one I need to go back and watch, because I think I only have the TV special memories of that where you watched portions of it.
Okay, at the end when Margie's walking up to the house because she hears the wood chipper.
Yeah, okay, I don't remember.
You don't remember that?
No.
Okay. I won't say it because that's anyone that's watched it, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'll go back and watch that soon.
You're like, she's not even seeing anything yet. She's walking up to the house,
right, and
she hears the wood chipper going. This is like you're like turning the corner and you're like, what the fuck is, like, am I about to see? You can just hear sort of what's going on.
But that's the creepiest shit example, because it lets your mind figure out the scene rather than watching something that is obviously fake.
Yeah,
right. Because they're not gonna cut a guy up with a chainsaw. You know what I mean? Just to film it. So like your brain knows that's fake. So if they don't show you it, but they fucking let your brain start to play all these tricks,
you're like, sounds like insane.
I'm playing some shit out in my head that like might be more gruesome than what they wanted to show me, or you know, it's movie tricks, man.
Yeah, but this is when like movies were straight up magic, like that era, like Jurassic Park intro.
Oh, dude.
Right? So like gatekeeper, lift the gate. That was
like the like
you see the shadow of the Velociraptor in that big cage.
Yeah.
Right? And then they have the close up of the eye, and then you see it moving, and then they open up the gate, and then boom, it hits the side and it jolts it back, and then homie falls down, and then he's like, oh, it gets on the ground, and then boom, whoosh, he gets pulled in up the side. Right. You don't actually see the Velociraptor. You see like the part of its face through the slit. Doing it,
man, was the suspense.
And you're like, holy fuck. You're like, yo, this guy's getting fucked up right now. It's like...
So then you're trying to visualize the monster in your head. What could do such a thing, right?
Yeah. It's the less is more. Yeah, and when they drop in the cow to feed the Velociraptors, and you just see the leaves shaking and you hear the sounds, and you're like,
that shit was so powerful.
And as a kid, you're like, oh my god. Like,
so they did so much of that within the Stranger Things, where they brought back that like less is more vibe, trying not to show you a whole bunch of shit.
It's like it's dark, it's foggy, like
where you start
don't exactly
to find out
see what's going on. You hear something coming.
Yeah. The first like distinct like real imagery of the monster is
it's like an outline or a shape in the distance,
but
you're like
the definitive one is when what was his name? Not Steve's the douchebag, long hair fucking kid. His brother
Michael
is Michael. Will's brother. Is Jonathan Will's brother?
Yeah,
Jonathan,
the older guy.
Guy likes taking photos.
Yeah.
When he takes photo and you get to see the outline of the photo, that's like the first distinct thing. You know, well, a little spoiler in action there, but I don't give a fuck at this point. You've probably seen it. I'm the late one, so
yeah, right.
But yeah, man, so crazy, so well done. Just being able to see everything that well executed. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to continue on with that one.
Yeah, it's super good.
Damn sure.
Something funny too. I noticed with this isn't a spoiler, but I think it was either the first or the second episode of the second season of Stranger Things. They introduce a character, and there's a scene where this person's skateboarding, right? And so if you don't skateboard, you probably wouldn't notice it, but I really noticed, like, they call them the continuity errors in like the editing errors in movies, right?
I'm always one of the people that notice that shit.
So I always pick up on those. So right away they introduce this character and they're skateboarding and they're goofy.
Yeah.
So they drop in off something and then they cut to a different angle further away, and then all of a sudden they're regular footed.
Right.
And then it cuts again, boom, goofy again, and then boom, regular. And I was like, oh, like...
There's always those ones where like somebody will have the seatbelt on in the car, and then like we'll film this way, seatbelt's on, and then it cuts to that camera, seatbelt's off. You're just like,
You see them most with people smoking.
Yeah.
The length of the cigarette, or like drinking something, liquid moving up and down, or eating something. Movies have a hard time with editing those together.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's a tricky one.
Totally.
I've even done one.
It's easy. It's easy to point them out like once it's made.
Yeah.
But like while you're making it or while you're editing it,
right.
If that's your job, like the pressure to not fuck that up.
I've had simple shit like that in my fucking vlog, man. Where all of a sudden I needed to do like a little ad lib to like throw in a little part just to make the continuity of the story make sense, and all of a sudden like my beard's like a tiny bit longer because it's been a few days or some shit. Yeah. So you know, like everyone, you kind of have to like, and luckily then you can break the fourth wall and be like, oh yeah, a few days ago, or you can say some shit about it, but you can't
to laugh about it.
Yeah, you can't do that when you're in a movie, when all of a sudden your jacket's off and then it's on, and then you know.
Dude, I noticed Jurassic Park's my favorite movie of all time. For a good reason.
Yeah.
Because the whole movie magic thing, I remember watching that as a kid and I totally got sucked into it, thought it was real, like was totally blown away because it was such an original idea.
Oh, dude.
And they executed it so well, man. Like Stan Winston Studios, they did all the animatronics. Amazing. Amazing job. The people that sculpted and painted like the real dinosaurs.
Well, dude, those things still look good to the day. That's the crazy part.
Exactly. Because those practical effects, man, like
they can't be fucked with.
Yeah. So even they introduced some CGI in the first Jurassic Park. Okay, it's not even really that bad, by today's standards. Like when you see the Brachiosaurus,
no,
right?
they did it.
It's like whatever.
They did it right.
But like watching the new Jurassic Park, Jurassic World.
Yeah.
Right? It's so CGI that like some of it is it looks so fucking fake, dude. Even though like it's the best time to do CGI, but
that was the only thing. There was a couple things when I was watching in Stranger Things where they had animated a couple things. So it was like the goo when they were putting their hand in the goo. I'm like, you could have made some goo.
Totally.
Like you could have whipped up some slime.
But to go back to my point, I remember when Jurassic Park got re-released to the theaters for, I think it was the 30th or 20th or 30th.
Right.
Anniversary. So it would have been 10, 20. Yeah, 20. I've seen it on the big screen again. I noticed like one of the biggest mistakes that I've never noticed before, and it fucking just ruined it for me. Oh my God, it's so bad. It's when they're they're at night in front of the T-Rex pen, right?
Right.
So you got the two cars. You got the kids in the car up front.
Yeah.
And then you got Jeff Goldblum and Alan Grant, right? in the back one. So it's the kids with the lawyer, and then there's the whole scene where the water's shaking. Right. And the lawyer's like, "Oh, it must be the breakers trying to get back on," right? And then he sees the T-Rex and he fucking pieces. So he opens the door, he pieces, runs and hides in the washroom, right?
Right.
Then in the car behind, they notice, and then Jeff Goldblum has the joke about, they're like, "Oh, where's he going?" And then he's like, "Oh, when you gotta go, right?" Because they don't realize the T-Rex is there at this point. So the whole thing is that the guy left those kids alone, and the door's open. Right. So then you can see the doors open because he leaves, and then you even see from the angle from inside the second car that the doors open from their line of sight. Then the T-Rex comes, and there's the scene where the kid quietly tries to close the door, and then it catches the T-Rex attention, right? So before that happens, the door goes from being open when the guy leaves, then it cuts to another angle, the door is closed, then it's open again.
Because they need it open for the plot point.
Yeah, because that part is so crucial, right? Because the whole thing leads up to him leaving it open specifically so the kid can close it when he comes, right? But then they fuck it up.
And I understand all that stuff so much now too, because the simplest thing will be like, you forgot to take a B-roll shot, so they'll find another piece of footage from that like equals where that B-roll shot would have been, and then now the door's closed, but they're like, well.
And so I got sucked into like this whole rabbit hole of finding the other continuity errors in Jurassic Park. Fuck. And I don't know how familiar you are with that movie.
It's been a little while, that's for sure. I'm gonna let you talk about everything because now I gotta go fucking take a piss.
Okay,
I gotta do that. I gotta be that guy this podcast.
All right, that's perfect. I can go off on this tangent.
When you gotta go, I guess you gotta go.
Yeah, right. When you gotta go, you gotta go. So the car door one is the major one, but the second one that I got put on, actually, I found a video on YouTube for it. But the kitchen scene with the velociraptors when the kids are hiding in the kitchen, and he figures out how to open the door and he pushes the door open with his nose. It cuts to an angle when you see the velociraptor standing in the doorway, and it's lit up from behind from the hallway lights. And so the velociraptor's just looking around, and then if you look in the bottom left corner, right by the edge of the door, you can actually see a person's hand reach out from behind the door, and it touches the back of the velociraptor right where his tail is to kind of bob it to give the velociraptor more of a realistic look. So his body's moving when he's looking around for the kids. But that one's super bad. So now that you're aware, and when I was aware of it, I can't watch that movie now without specifically looking right at that corner to see that when it happens. They're kind of fun to know about, but at the same time they suck because it ruins it for you. It takes you out of the believability of it, where you'll be watching it and you realize that you're watching a movie because you can see people fucking with the set. I was just saying, there's a scene, the kitchen scene, the velociraptor.
Oh yeah,
right?
Where you're like finding out just how smart the fucking things are.
Actually, I wonder, you could probably look this up to show them, But there's a scene if you...
Welcome back to the Squadcast. No, sorry.
Squadcast, yeah. I don't know how to show them. If you want to look up Velociraptor, Jurassic Park,
Raptor...
continuity error, maybe. But there's a scene when he opens the door and he's standing there. You can see in the bottom corner, someone's hand reaches out from behind the door to bob the Velociraptor.
I wonder if this is it right
see
here.
If we can find it to show you guys.
Movie mistakes number 44.
Yeah. This is it. Yeah. Throw it on. Oh, I think like the nostrils moving and
then the
hot breath.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the steam of the hot breath,
dude. And
practical effects, man.
Dude, and they can even make the pupils dilate.
Yeah, dude.
Amazing, dude. It's so,
I was always so
totally
intrigued into that.
in.
Like, part of me at some point, or for a good while, I wanted to go into props and
me too.
Creation of all this shit.
Practical effects. Okay,
here's the door being opened.
This is it.
Or trying to be opened. You see the door handle being fiddled with. And you see the little raptor hand come out.
Okay.
Raptor starts pushing his head through. This was such an iconic scene, dude.
Terrifying.
Right? So terrifying.
Okay, look at the bottom left. See the human hand reach out and touch the tail? Did you see it?
Let me fucking rewind that a bit. Okay.
Look right above the table, the bottom corner.
Right.
You'll see the hand. Right? See it poked out? There, he grabbed it. See, if you're not paying attention, it almost looks like a tail. Right?
Absolutely, dude. Man, that's so funny.
Right? Did you see the
hand? You see the hand? Let's see that again. Because there's all that simple shit where it was just a stage guy trying to protect the tail from having it get caught on the door or some shit.
Or just to bob it to make it look more realistic, the way the body would move.
Absolutely. Guess what? Still looks more realistic than CGI.
Because it's
more believable.
It is real. Man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's real. You can actually touch the thing. You can actually There's the little hand action. Oh, man, that's great. I love all those continuity error shit, man.
And they're in everything. Every movie, every TV show.
The most iconic one, the stormtrooper hitting his head.
You can't fucking see.
Yeah, exactly. Stormtroopers coming through some doorway, and the door doesn't quite open all the way, and he can't see.
It's the first time, right? I think you're introduced to Vader.
I believe so.
I think it's that. Yeah.
Oh man, there's so many of that shit.
Yeah,
that's so funny. I'm trying to think about other ones that I had seen that were from Jurassic Park. I know there was a handful of them. Wasn't there one that was involving the spitter?
The Dilophosaurus.
Hey, big word guy.
He's got a name. Spared no expense, he says.
I'll look that up after.
There's a few.
Yeah,
for sure. There's a few other ones.
What the heck are you doing there, cat?
Rogan. Buddy.
My cat's coming to join the podcast again. Or I guess this guy hasn't been on the podcast yet. He's just chilling on the table.
Background, maybe?
Yeah.
No,
background.
Yeah, he says, what's up? Don't eat the mic.
Frig. I had something else that I wanted to bring up. What was it?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else I had to say. There was Stranger Things, and then that led into the continuity of that. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
I think,
What else did I totally
what were you talking about before?
Man, I forget.
The tangent.
The tangent town. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, fuck. What were you talking about?
Dude, did you hear about freaking, I know we were both been checking out wanting to go to Complex Con this year, and then we're planning we're gonna make that happen next year. We're definitely going to Complex Con.
For those of you that do know what Complex Con is, you know how amazing it is. For those of you that don't, it's basically the Complex Media. They're bringing the URL to IRL. They're bringing the internet to real life. So it's fucking everything you love about the internet. It's talk shows, it's interviews,
culture,
it's
fashion,
music. It's art, it's music, it's food.
Yeah. Did you hear fucking who's performing this year? NERD?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I was just like, what? I just found out about it a while ago.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
Yeah.
That was like one of the first ones that were announced.
Yeah. I don't end up like going into details with so much stuff. My brain can only handle so much information. But like when I was just like reading about it the other day again, I was like, Jesus Christ, man, like that's crazy. That's
throwback, eh?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude.
And again, which is cool because dude, Pharrell, well, Complex Con, the reason that came to be is Mark Echo, right? Is behind Complex. And it was Pharrell and there was someone else was a third partner that decided to make Complex Con a thing.
Right.
Yeah. So them being ambassadors basically. And Pharrell being again one of like the busiest people in the industry.
God damn, man.
And that's sick that they got
Dude,
not only
so
him
crazy.
to just perform, but to bring like NERD together. Like, there's a lot of people that, super hyped on that.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fucking, it's gonna be lit, as they say,
for the lack of a better term.
Yeah, for real, right? Yeah, that's dope.
It'd be sick.
I definitely want to go
100%.
check out some kind of events like that. I've been to the only like big event that I've been to, something similar to that, was the NAMM show for. A national, except that's for like music instruments and everything on that end of stuff. That's the National Annual Music Merchant. National Annual
Is that
Music
LA?
Merchants, and it's in LA. Yeah, and it was just like, it was basically where all the reps get together to show off their new products for the year, and then just party and get drunk and go to all these fucking.
As any like. Con,
absolutely,
like,
right? So I spent most of that with the lead rep of Ibanez at the time, just getting so hammered and smoking weed and shit, and like we'd go to his hotel room, and he just had like it was like the bathtub filled with beer with like ice and shit, just the cliche shit. Like you could tell he was like, this is my time to party.
Oh yeah, well, dude, for like reps and shit,
oh my god,
they do like. Only reps really know, but
yeah,
the fucking grunt work you got to do as a rep, man. Dude. Like, not only is it labor intensive, but mentally draining. So when these conventions come around, you're there to show face, but you're really there to fucking enjoy dude. Like
see the face
fruits.
Of all like yeah, exactly. You see a bunch of your friends that are in the business too, and you just party and let loose, man. And it was a fucking great time.
And you get into all like the backstage shit, and you really get to enjoy like the benefits of your job.
Yeah, for sure, dude.
Right, and all the parties and whatnot.
I want to do that on that's the goal next year. We're gonna get in on the back end of that stuff. Complex Con.
Yeah.
Roll out, do a podcast from the place.
I really
vlog the whole thing.
Yeah, I really wanted to not only go to Complex Con, like last year was the first year they did it.
Right.
When they were advertising, I was like, whoa, like I need to go to this last year, right? But I didn't have the money.
You want anything?
I'm good, homie.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, next year, being this year, I wanted to go. And even early in the year, I was like, not only do I want to go, but I want to have a booth there.
Yeah.
Like I want to set up like an art booth, right? Because LA is really the hub of everything, and especially for like music and
art and media and shit.
Yeah. And like a lot of the artists I do from the States, and I was like, this is like perfect platform for like the type of exposure that I would want for what I do. And I was like, man, not only do I need to be there, but I need to be there as
representing yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
So I inquired about getting a booth. Did I tell you about this?
No, I don't think you did mention this.
No. Okay. So yeah, like I emailed them, told them like what was up, and I was like, what is the process, first step kind of thing, like in order to get a booth, like what do I have to do? Like I've never done this. Like what is the cost? What's the procedures, or like what are the requirements? Because I don't know, like maybe like it's not open to everyone, right? Yeah. Maybe you have to be a brand, or
usually just money.
You have to be, or you have to have a fucking 300,000 followers. You have to be popping, right? I don't know. So I inquired about it, and I got a response like within 10 minutes. Like they were super on it.
Keen.
The guy was super nice, but basically he was explaining that, so like he was like, yeah, for sure you can get a booth. it just the amount of money that it costs. Yeah. So I think it was like a 10 by 10 booth. It was like $5,000.
Yeah, that sounds that. I was gonna say that sounds about right. Easily. Right.
So, US, right? So we're in Canada.
So that's like $90,000.
Yeah, right. So I was like, okay, $5,000 is a lot of money. But then I was like, okay, it's US. But because I'm in Vancouver, not only would I have to pay the conversion, I would have to fly down there and figure out how
transport if you're good,
transport all my art and displays or whatever I have.
Not only that, shit gets crazy too when you're trying to sell something in another country. You pretty much have to either try to do it under wraps or like get some form of like visa shit.
Right. And
so dumb.
Pay for stay, pay for food. Yep. Right. So that $5,000 really turned into $10,000 easy.
Oh yeah, easily. That shit
right
goes
away,
quick.
Right. So yeah, he was just saying, he's like, yeah, you're more than welcome to do it. He's like, oh, as a single artist, it might be a bit expensive. He was saying normally people get like a brand or something to back them, right? Yeah.
Some collab action.
And I was like, okay, yeah, totally makes sense. But not only do you have to pay the fee for the booth, but whatever your display is, you have to send them what your display will look like, to be approved.
Okay, yeah.
So you pay the fee.
Okay.
You have your idea for your booth, and I guess a mock-up that you send to them, and that has to get approved. Okay, and that's if you're doing it all yourself.
Yeah.
They charge a fee if you like don't have the means to do display or whatever, that they can set something up for you to display stuff with. But that was like an additional, I think it was like another $1,500. Like,
yeah.
So it's like you can pay $5,000 to get the booth, do your own thing if it gets approved, or you can pay $6,500 to just have a thing with like display set up that you can use that is approved by them, right? Which I mean is cool.
That's all kind of understandable too. They're trying to keep the vibe of the whole thing. They don't want to.
I totally respect it. Like I totally understand, right? But as someone, for someone who doesn't have the funds to do that and like is sort of starting out, I guess. Like
I've done those local tattoo conventions, and that's still not cheap. And it's it's one of those things, man, when you have to start weighing out the costs.
Exactly. And I didn't have the means to do it this year. I reached out to a few people to because he mentioned getting someone to back you, right, as a brand. There's a few people I reached out to, didn't get a response from one. The second person was like, oh, I don't know if we have the finances to do that, right? And I forwarded them the email the guy had sent to me with like the breakdown of what it would cost and whatnot, and then they just didn't reply to me.
Right.
And I was like, okay, well, you initially replied, like, so now you're just gonna ghost me when you saw the price. Like at least, like, it's fine. Just tell me that you don't want to do it or you can't afford or whatever.
That's too expensive.
It's like, don't just reply right away and then just ghost me.
Yeah,
like,
that's fucking whack.
I was like, okay, whatever. But so then it didn't happen again this year, but.
Hey man, fucking
next year I at least want to go.
Man,
like
goals.
It is goals. Yeah. Like I at least just want to go, man. I know, like, just for like networking, even, man, it would just be fucking.
Well, like,
for
I'm
both
telling
of
you,
us,
man, that shit would be hype. Like I want to go just to fucking vlog it, and then in the background of my mind, I'm like, yo, why wouldn't we bring this with us? And then just the whole time when you're trying to network, you just put another little feelers like, yo, we got a podcast, blah, blah, da, 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 da. We're now 100 something, 200 something episodes deep. We've had so-and-so on it. Next thing you know, we're having a little podcast action with maybe a little celebrity of some kind, or somebody that we look up to in some form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or you never know.
That's the whole thing, is you never know, right? It's just like networking is A1. And especially in anything of the nature when you're a creative and you're trying to meet other creatives, this is just like, yo, man, just go find some other people.
It's all just like, this is totally like the like-minded people that I need to just be around.
For sure, man. Environment is everything.
Like, I mean, like, goal for me, like, I would love to do like artwork for like an artist. Yeah. Like do like an album cover, a mixtape cover.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just like work with these artists that I just really fuck with, you know what I mean? And
And that's not far-fetched though. That's the crazy ass part of it, man. That's like I mean, even in the similar,
so I don't have the means to reach out to these people or like the platform to reach them on. Like, who knows? Like maybe maybe they would want to work with me on something. You'd
be surprised. You almost got to take the fucking Gary V shit where you send out a fucking 100 DMs and expect one back.
I've sent out like at least a baker's dozen.
Oh yeah. For sure, man. Sometimes you get lucky. That was like literally when I started BC Plugs, and I kind of cross-mentioned to you this before. I've got my homie Joshua Travis, who was the guitarist who came in to Tony Danza Trap Dance Extravaganza, and then he ended up starting his own band, Glass Cloud. And I was just like, I reached out to him over Instagram and was just like, yo, like you're the shit, essentially. Like, I love what you do and I'd love to support you in any way I can. And now the guy has only worn my wooden jewelry for the past 5 years or something like that. I just sent him out a handful of Create Dreams clothing that he's gonna be wearing.
That's crazy.
On stage for fucking like his headlining tour through Europe, Japan and shit, and like simple shit where it's just like I just reached out and now like me and the guy shoot the shit online and are homies, and it's just you just don't know, man. You just reach out. People are people, right?
People are people.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That's the fucked up part about it is we all get so removed from it and thinking that. I mean,
thinking like people are so famous they're untouchable, right?
Yeah. When it's like, you know, even freaking like we're all on Team Human Being, man. When you see this, like that's like what I love about the fact that like Twitter's around the way it is, because like I mean, you see the shit happening with Trump and all these other people where it's just like you're like, dude, you're exposing yourself further as just being like everybody else. Goof. Yeah, that you're still spending your time on Twitter and watching TV and doing what everybody else does. You know what I mean? And like. I don't know, man. World transparency is a funny thing, right?
Yeah. Very true. But Complex Con.
Yeah.
No excuses.
No.
Next year.
Hands down, man.
I've already started saving, so.
Yeah. Dude, man, those kind of trips in general are fucking so fun.
I think like so for like the 2-day like all included like because you have to pay extra for like the VIP ones where you can get in to sit in on the conversations and interviews and to go to the stages to watch people perform. So obviously that's what I would buy.
Yeah.
Is like that VIP one.
You want to be immersed in the whole thing.
Yeah, and like for the whole weekend, so it's something around like $500 US.
That's not bad.
Right? And then so plane ticket, there and back, plus stay and food for the weekend. Like, so maybe like $2,000.
Yeah. But fuck, dude. Like, if you go anywhere that's like,
No, I know. Like, I'm not complaining. Like, I would gladly pay $2,000 to do this.
Oh, dude. That'd be so sick.
That's easy. I've already started saving, but I just didn't have the money last minute.
Yeah.
Because of life.
I've been in LA a handful of times in my life, all at different age points. Dude, for real? Oh, it's so good. Like, I love that.
Well, this is in Long Beach. Have you been to Long Beach?
I don't remember exactly what, again, with me in locations and stuff. I know I was around Anaheim, wherever the Los Angeles Convention Center is. And then, those were the 2 times I went were near that area. And then when I was younger, like I say, I was in around Anaheim and stuff like that. But Disneyland and all that shit, man.
The go-tos.
Yeah, dude. Fucking, but the same shit. You go over there and you just like the people that you meet. It's refreshing, and I mean, obviously you find that there's pockets with anything, but when you're there for a creative or like any form of event like that, where it's bringing those like-minded people together and shit, man, so sick.
Right? You're like, no way, you too. You like this shit?
Yeah.
Everyone here likes this shit.
Yeah. Everybody's actually in a good mood here because they're like stoked to be here.
So stoked, right?
Yeah. Fuck. That's just so contagious too, right? Where it's not the shit around here.
I know, like if I went, my face would just hurt at the end of the day from just smiling for like nonstop.
Your brain and senses just get like expanded. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, geez.
Yeah, and it may just like open up doors, but also creative doors, right? Like it may expose you to certain things, and you're like, oh fuck, that's a good idea, or it may like spark an idea of you like, oh, I kind of thought about doing that, like now I know, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna just go full in on that thing I was thinking about now, like after seeing what other people are doing, you know,
dude. And it's so like I started thinking on like the flip side of things, where it's like when you go to a place and everybody's loves what they're doing and they're stoked on like being at that event or some shit like that. Like you're just meeting like refreshing interactions with people, versus the other night it was like after the first podcast we did, I think. I was going to talk about this in a second, but I totally forgot about it. I went to Superstore and I'm in line, and then the guy at the next...
Were they all open though?
They weren't all open.
Like the sign promised.
Like the sign promised, but it was like after the hours or whatever. It was like late at night, and I'm standing in line, and then the guy at the other counter like opens up the counter and goes, "Can I help the next person in line?" And he like looks at me because I'm the next person in line.
Someone cut you off?
No, I walk into the line and I'm put my stuff down, and I'm like, "Hey, what's going on, man?" Like pull out my headphone, and as I'm doing it, some like crazy lady comes up and slams her like 2 items down on the counter in front of me, and she goes like, "Excuse me, sir," like to the guy at the counter. She's just like, "Don't you know what your fucking job is? Don't you know what you're supposed to do?" And she's like literally like tweaking out and shit, and he's literally just going,
he's like, "What the fuck
standing
are you
there
talking
going,
about?
Whoa, what?" And this lady's like, "You know, you're supposed to help the next person in line. You know, you're supposed to say next person in line. Don't you know that you people?" And she starts going off with this you people shit.
Oh, fuck.
And he was a brown guy, and I was just like, or like it wasn't even like he was like, yeah, I don't even know, but like whatever. So I could tell that she was doing it to try to be like racist with the whole shit, like you people that work behind the counter, like.
Okay, do you think she meant it as a race thing, or as someone like a cashier?
I think
you cashier.
She was trying to do it sly undertones of
like
both.
Low key racist.
Yeah, low key racist, where she's like, "No, I'm just talking about the cashiers," but she was in fact talking about like you people that all. It's all, of course, it's you people that work here, kind of thing, right? Okay. She put this like demeaning fucking connotation to it, and at this point, I'm kind of like, "Oh, hang on a second."
You're like, "I'm about to fucking pick you up and walk you outside and leave you there."
So she's bitching at this guy and like screaming these whole things. "Don't you know what you're doing? You people." And then I just like, I pull up my headphone. I turn down my headphones. I only had one in at the time. And I just turned to her and I'm just like, "Excuse me, lady." He did actually raise his voice and say, "I'll help the next person in line. You were nowhere to be seen. I didn't even know you were around here. Like, what's your problem?" And then she's like,
"Where'd she come from? Outside?"
No idea. No fucking clue where she came from. She just like
just
literally
materialized.
Just materialized out of her fucking psychopathic fucking nature. Just like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" And so freaking guys sitting here like, "Whoa." And then like I'm just like telling this lady off.
Now,
yeah. And then she's like, "This has nothing to do with you. Stay out of this." And I'm like, "Actually, you see, this does have something to do with me because you just butted in line. And on top of that,
you brought me into the situation.
And then you brought it over the top by trying to like separate us as people. We're all just people here. Settle your shit." And she's like, "Don't worry about me, blah blah blah, mind your own fucking business." And I'm like, "Look, just because you're having a shitty day, there's no reason to take this out on this kind man here behind the counter." And she turns to me like
yeah,
and like bloodshot eyes, and she's just like,
she's full on,
"I'm not having a shitty day, I'm having a great day." And I'm just like, whoa. And you're like, so I just like straight up like put my earbud in and just like turned away, and then she just like kind of starts losing her shit more, and then I see her look at the cashier and then just like storm off. And then he's standing there.
So were you like, you had paid? You were just hanging out now?
I'm waiting to get my stuff rung through to pay. But she budged in before all that even happened. So anyway, she storms off and Buddy's like, "Yo, you forgot your $10 bill." And then she turns around and she's like, "I think I can trust you," or something. And then storms off further. And then that was all I saw of her. She just disappears into the night of Psycho and left her $10 bill and her items.
She's going to continue to shop? Like, as if she forgot something?
Or something. I have no idea. It was just the craziest instance of just like seeing somebody that was so unstable and like just clearly hated their fucking, like their existence. Like she was breaking down at the fact that the cashier didn't notice her.
Like, what?
Wow.
Slow your roll, lady.
Yeah, to the point where everybody like, because nobody says shit to anybody nowadays, so nobody else was going to say something to this lady, right? So it's just like, yo, calm down. Like, this guy is doing his job, you know? If anything, bitch at me because I was the one that came over here next. I walked over when I saw him. So like, nah. Like.
Yeah. Dude, that reminds me of, I was in elementary school. Oh man, I would have been maybe like 9, 10, something like that.
Yeah. So like, what's that, like 5?
It was actually
5 or some shit.
Was it? Oh no! Remember with that old Extra Foods, like Scottsdale?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I went grocery shopping with my mom, and there was a lady ahead of us. She was just about to be next. So there was a lady that had just paid, right? And she's putting her groceries in her cart, right?
Okay, yeah. And
so the lady ahead of us is about to be rung through, right? So the guy's just about to start scanning her items. And then the lady in front of us was super impatient. Like, you ever get in those situations where it escalates so fast that even though you're there, you're like, you feel like you missed something. You're like, whoa, how did we get here so fast, right?
What?
Yeah. So out of nowhere, the lady ahead of us is like, hurry up, get the fuck out of my way, kind of shit, to the lady putting her groceries in her bag, and she's like looking at her like, okay, so she's freaking out at this lady to hurry up, right?
Yeah.
And I remember just looking at her and just watching this play out, and I was like,
so whack.
I was like, why is this lady freaking out, dude? It got to the point where she's like, she hits her with her cart. She's like, hurry up and move, right? Like, hits her with it, and the lady grabbed it, and she was like you could tell she had never been in a situation like cashier now involved, that lady, the lady hitting her with the cart, and now us behind her involved, and we're all like, whoa, what the fuck?
Situation.
What the fuck's going on, right? This lady's freaking out. She starts hitting her with the cart, and then she starts ramming her with it. You know when you hit it and then lift it up to bring it back, and it hits the ground. She starts doing that against her, and then like a manager had to come and like intervene and like get this lady to fucking chill out. And dude, it was like
how bad is your life?
Like, it was one of the earliest memories I have of like seeing someone freak out that like I still remember it. And I was like, and I was like, it came out of nowhere, and she started hitting her with a cart, started swearing and freaking out, and then everyone was just like, whoa, what the hell is going on? Like,
dude, that's just crazy, man. Because like you start to just like try to think about like what's going on in your life that's so
and you're
fucked.
Like, what's your end goal here?
Gross. Yeah.
That's what the question is, right? You're like, what's your end goal? Like, are you in a rush so you need to leave and she's in your way? Like, so you hitting her is like, now you're able to get like, it makes no, you try to break it down.
Yeah, for sure. You try to see like, from their end.
And you're like, nah, you're just unstable.
You're just crazy. You're just actually fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like when I was leaving, like I could hear all these other people being like the shit you see, like, you know what I mean?
The shit
like,
you must see,
yeah. Like,
well, we've both worked retail, right? So
that's what I told Buddy.
The shit you fucking see.
Like, I looked at him and I'm just like, man, sorry I had to deal with that shit. He's like, it's part of my job, man. And I'm like, I used to work retail, I know, but still, it's never good seeing.
And it doesn't matter what type of retail it is.
No, it's always going to be there,
right? Because we've worked different product retail, but at the end of the day, you're interacting with people.
Somehow people just feel like they can like harass you.
Yeah, fuck. You're just...
It's so bizarre, man.
You're the reason why my day is going bad.
Dude, it's this weird ass shit, like where it's like, I don't know, like we're going to fucking... Damn, we just still haven't brought this one up. We're going to talk about Japan a lot. And in a basic instance, I don't know,
maybe we'll do like next podcast.
Yeah, we'll do it next pods. We'll delve into it a bit further. But one of the things that I always take from them is that they give... everything the respect it deserves, no matter what it is. So like, no matter what your occupation is, you're not going to be looked down upon by somebody else as long as you give that occupation the respect that it deserves.
Yeah.
If you're a fucking janitor, if you're whatever it is, you know what I mean? You're working at an ice cream parlor, you're building sandwiches, like it doesn't matter. There's no like cultural divide or like this like shaming because
there's no hierarchy to what it is. Like, everyone can be dope and cool at what they do as long as they take the respect to put in. To
the point where we're at now, where everything's so overboard over here, where we're judging and analyzing shit so much that I saw something on Twitter today where Corn Pops just put out an ad where
like Corn Pops tweeted it.
No. So they just like put out an ad campaign or something.
Yeah.
And it was like on the back of one of their cereal boxes or some shit. I think it was the back of a cereal box.
Okay.
Where it was like, They'd like make one of those full box images where it just kind of like has some random cartoon or some shit. And there's all these corn pops that are people, like anthropomorphized corn pops. And they're all like working around, like, no, they're all playing and partying and like over the whole box. And then there's a janitor corn pop that's cleaning up after them. But the janitor corn pop's like a slightly darker color corn pop.
Oh.
So people were losing their shit about how dare you start introducing racism to my kid at such a young age, blah 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 blah. How dare you? This is my kid's gonna be staring at this, like, and it got into this. You crazy think just thing.
Coincidentally, or
so
some fucking asshole?
Maybe, but then somebody just brought up the simple point, and it's like, how dare you shit on fucking janitors? Teaching kids from a young age that you have to have a hierarchy as far as your occupation and that you're a piece of shit if you're a janitor. Like, you know what I mean? It brought to that same point where it was just like, yo,
like
how is
Western
that
society for sure. Like any like labor intensive job means that you're not educated and that you're just a fucking piece of shit.
So then somebody flipped the coin and was just like, man, how about you like take a look at it this way? All the other corn pops were partying, slacking off, being a bunch of freaking yahoos.
And this guy's holding it.
And this guy's busting ass working and holding it down. And so maybe he's the only positive corn pop on the box. It's just the same kind of shit where it's just like you see everything from the same. I mean, from you see the same thing but from different perspectives, and then it's just like
whether it's fucking real life or
corn pop box. And you're just like, man, is that really what you're trying to worry about? Is that really like what you should be trying to worry about?
Smoked a joint and analyzed this box way too much that it became a thing, right?
Yeah, dude. And that's the points when I love Twitter so much, is just seeing people like not attack, but like break down people's breakdowns and just be like, yo, like, no. What about this?
These rants that people go on.
Yeah. And then straight up memes off all the other shit. So great.
It's like Twitter's the one that I use it like the least.
Yeah.
But
I'll get,
I don't know. I just don't think I've figured out the value of Twitter yet.
It's awesome, actually. I love fucking Twitter. I'll get you busting ass on there more. I'll be like the Shab fucking.
I'm more of like the set it and forget it. So that's why I like Instagram, because like I do work.
Right.
Take a picture of it, post it, and I'm like, it's done. I can walk away. I don't have to. You can interact as much or as little as you want, right?
Right.
Where Twitter is like it's the status.
It's a full blown interaction.
It's like use it or you don't, and I just.
Yeah, I hopped in when I started removing myself from the other ones, and as far as the consuming, like there was so much consuming happening on all these other apps where I was like, nah, I just want to be like on Twitter, part of like a community, sharing things with other people, and when I have a question about stuff, other people will actually answer and give value back. It's not just like,
so you use it to just ask questions and stuff.
I'll use it for asking questions, fucking looking into new things, sharing things that I'm into, fucking like, I don't know. Twitter's I found a lot of value in it. It was so foreign for the first while, and then it's just like anything. You just hop in and you're just like, oh, okay. And then now it's like the main social media platform that I use. Bigfoot _life at Twitter. Check me out.
Shameless plug.
That's right.
Even more so than Instagram.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Fully. I still have like I know the value in what I will use Instagram for, but as far as like a personal or like social media interaction,
that's the
Twitter.
one that you connected the best with.
Yeah. And the biggest reason too, especially after coming from a Facebook world where everything is like, it's just turned into a place now where everybody's just laying out diatribes of trying to like, like I've always ever just used Facebook as like my own personal
social
diary.
Justice warriors.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
Brownie
it gets
points
fucked up. But like I've only ever used it for like cataloging what I'm doing or what I'm up to. So at some point I can look back and like understand what I was feeling and
like
doing.
Doesn't Facebook hit you with the like 4 years ago today?
Yes. Yeah,
right?
the time hop stuff.
Yeah.
And so that kind of shit's dope. So if you're just like laying out all these like self-contrived diatribes about like needing likes and all this other stuff where it's just clearly seaching for attention, and then that's what you're getting flashed back to years later, you're gonna be like, wow, I was really,
you're like, oh, I was
providing some value to people there. Whereas on Twitter your statuses or whatever are limited to 140 characters, so you have to think.
Did they change it again recently?
I heard that they're changing it to 280.
Okay.
And I think that it got changed for some people, but it's still 140 for me. So I don't know.
For some people, like the blue check mark people.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know exactly how that one works. They tested it out
first, like the fucking Snapchat glasses.
Yeah. But it's like, it saves you from seeing a lot of that over contrived bullshit, because people just have to think about what they want to put out in 140 words.
Yeah, right. But then you can just do multiple tweets, right?
Yeah, you can, but then it just blatantly looks like you're an asshole or you have a point to get across. usually you look like an asshole.
But I don't know. I think the idea of it being more limited is better, because then people have to think about what their point really is.
And that was why I was like such a huge fan of Beam, Casey Neistat's app that he had came out with. Remember when I was telling you that you like you just literally hold the thing to your chest, it would start recording, and as soon as you let go, you'd be posting it. You know? Oh, I got my cat meowing in the background. Jeez. I'll clean it up in a minute, guys. Man, that's so funny. Freaking, but yeah, we introduced our artist spotlight for this week.
So our first segment that we're gonna try to do weekly, artist spotlights, and then the DSP.
Hell yeah, the DSP
podcast.
Deep-Seated Podcast. We're going to get this fully branded now, out on all platforms. I'm going to start getting this up on SoundCloud, link it out onto iTunes, Spotify. You'll be able to listen to this throughout your day rather than having the video and play and such. Mm-hmm. Just basically try to get out on all distribution channels and get into your earbuds, onto your phones.
Yeah.
Fuck. So I don't know. Should we wrap her up for today?
Yeah, I think that was a pretty good episode.
Hell yeah, man. 2.5 hours is some good tangent.
Is that where we're at?
I think that's 2.5, isn't it?
Damn, yeah.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, we got some other segments that we're gonna try to introduce next week. Some other random things. We'll start showing you guys some other crazy shit we're finding on the internet, because I'm always on a search.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Well, freaking. I guess ultimately, if you want to support this podcast, the easiest way, if you're on Twitch, there's a donate button down below. If you want to find other ways to support us, you can check out my clothing company, Create Dreams Clothing. BC Plugs is my jewelry company for handmade plugs. That's the main way to support myself. That's my back end of stuff. You can check out my homeboy.
Indie Local, on pretty much all platforms. Just support and follow, and hopefully this will become something good.
Yeah, I'm
something better.
Yeah, we've got some plans, and we got some things coming for this, and we're only going to aim to make this better. So
more segments and more guests.
Hell yeah, dude. Cool. Expansion. Well, we're going to set up the next podcast for, I think we're going to try for Wednesday, or
do Wednesday morning.
Yeah, we'll do Wednesday morning. Okay. So we're going to aim for Wednesday morning. We'll get a schedule up for this whole thing. And thanks for watching, listening, and hanging out.
Yes. Enjoy your day.
All right, fam. Peace out.
Peace, guys.
Lates.